We're live. People can see us. People can hear us.
Oh, good.
Well, I think it's always like a couple seconds behind.
No, of course.
Let's see. Come on.
Who's in the chat?
I don't know. My YouTube. I have to refresh this. Hold on. There we go. I think it's just us for now because I normally don't stream on Thursdays.
Oh, special stream.
It is. Well, I got. I'll be honest. I got like so annoyed over this whole situation that I really wanted to have as much fun as I can with this video. So I uploaded the whole thing onto the channel because it's a lower quality version, so it can't be flagged by the bots. And I was like, well, fuck it, I'm going to do a stream as well in case the first video gets taken down. Then I have the stream up. So, next level thinking.
Yeah, I've seen the video. I saw when the quartering did his re-upload of it and added his few little edits to it. So I haven't seen the. I guess his was edited to. I guess the video has been edited down a couple times. What's up, Soge? How you doing?
Soge, welcome.
Yeah, my understanding it's been edited down a couple times to make sure to get around the YouTube terms and stuff like that. So the one that I managed to see was the one quartering uploaded. So I don't know how much of that was edited from the original, but that's my understanding.
Well, so the one that I have is the one that's not been edited at all.
At all? Okay, so this is a pure uncut version.
Baby, stop playing with the laptop screen. Jeez. She keeps like flicking it.
All right. So you have the pure uncut version of the video, basically.
Yes. And okay, all it is a joke about a gun. That's what it is. And and shooting somebody. So
okay.
Hello, I'm doing fine. Oh my god, you're in California, Soge? I moved out of California. I'm in Indiana now. Sorry.
Best decision you ever made.
It is. It really is. Kurogati Uzumaki, I've seen the original video on BitChute, so you know the scene I'm talking about, don't you? It's good. It's really good. Okay. Aura's going to be joining us later.
And then I'll tag out from there because I don't think I can stay on the full stream. I'll try to stay as long as I can, but
well, I appreciate it, John.
Stay the whole time, but I will try.
Well, no, I appreciate you coming on and being here to co-host for now.
Yeah,
we're going to start watching in like 10 minutes. I figure we'll wait for a couple more people to join in. But I guess before we begin, because I'm going to do a video on the Minnesota riots, which hopefully I can get up tomorrow morning. The other video I wanted to do, and it's pretty funny, I got into an argument with the Pescatore News Network, the Josh Pescatore guy.
Is it Pescatore or Pescatore?
I say Pescatore. I don't know if it's wrong or right, but I like saying it.
I thought it was Pescatore. I don't know. I mean, I've heard of his content. I've never seen it. And what you all had told me earlier today, I guess he used to be affiliated with Keemstar to some capacity. That's all I know. I have no idea who he is, or I haven't seen any of his stuff. All I know is that
Dave Mark Sale.
Yeah, all I know is that he makes content and that he has had some degree of affiliation to Keem. That's it. I know nothing at all about the guy, but you did show me your exchange with him, which I thought was pretty one-sided. In my opinion, at least from what I saw.
Well, I mean, when you jump into a conversation and you're responding with, "So you don't know, so you don't get it," I'm like, buddy, don't.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that's definitely not a. That's obviously not a good response if it's just you don't get it, and then the person proceeds to explain and outlines every single detail of what they've read. So it's just I could see why he kind of checked out after that. So it's just kind of like I can see why he didn't respond.
I mean, I don't blame the guy because I'm in his Discord server and I'm there with Aura, so I know Aura pulls a lot of news from his server. The guy's pretty quick, and I'm not going to blame him. He's the Pescatore News Network. He posts news and shit. He's clearly on Twitter. He's giving his opinion on things, so I'm not going to blast him and say, "Well, you should know as a journalist." I mean, but at the same time, like, he's asking me, do you even know it's in the CDA? That means your small channel is never going to exist. I'm like, well, my small channel could be wiped out at any point, so it's not really good.
Yeah, well, it's not a good point because the thing is, look, as it is, your channel could be wiped out for other reasons, right? False flagging, false DMCA strikes, you saying something that violates Twitter's terms, or I'm sorry, YouTube's terms of service. So it's just like, there's a whole list of stuff that right now you could lose your channel over. So it's just like your channel's no more in danger than it was before.
Well, I mean, Mumkey Jones, he got his channel just taken away. No notices, no notifications. They just said, fuck it, you're yeeted off the platform.
Well, look at Memology. What Memology's going through right now, right?
Well, I mean, Memology's thing's totally different. He's like straight up being blackmailed. I'm talking about YouTube just coming out there and saying, we don't want you on the platform anymore, so we're just going to take your channel away from you.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's just like it could be anything. That's the point. It's just like, honestly, like I said, your channel, like I said, isn't any more or less safer than it was before. It's going to be the same. I don't see as like, at least from what I understand, from what you had explained to me and shown me before, I don't see how things are really going to be that much different. The only difference obviously being that, if anything, the one good thing I could see coming out of it is obviously, these platforms not being as restrictive on speech,
Well, so it's
fingers crossed.
Yeah, right? Let me give the chat a little bit of background here. So, for those of you who don't know, Twitter decided to fact check one of Trump's opinion tweets. Because Trump talks a lot of shit, right? And he's giving his opinion on things that may happen in the future. And I'm being as gentle as I can with this because obviously the dude's a very opinionated guy. They fact check his opinion using an op-ed from CNN and the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
Well, they editorialized his tweet. Here's the thing. Twitter is supposed to be a platform. You can't act as a publisher, which is exactly what they did. And the guy that they used to do it, obviously, I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff from the guy, like he's literally calling Trump supporters racist and shit. So he's clearly not the most unbiased person, but that's besides the point. So Trump says, okay, I'm going after you now, right? And he has a draft of an executive order. It leaks online, and I'm sitting there going like, well, you've been planning this for a while, right? Because this is carefully worded. It's not over the top. It's not a direct strike to remove the protections outright. It's basically going to enforce pre-existing conditions of the Communications Decency Act, Section 230, which grants these platforms immunity from being liable for the content that's on their platform, right? And it basically gives the FCC the ability to review complaints against the platform that they find the platforms are removing content in bad faith. For instance, like the Zuby situation where the guy says, okay, dude. And they say, okay, we're taking your account away because enough people reported you. That sort of thing is bad faith. It's not, it's not covered under the Communications Decency Act.
Yeah.
So because of that, they're saying, well, we're going to have the government review when you try to remove content. Now, obviously, there's problems with that, but at the same time, these platforms have a choice, and it's either be less restrictive, or the government's going to be able to get involved and take away your immunity. If a platform like Twitter had its immunity removed from it, right, it just can't exist. Like a lot of these situations with people getting their accounts taken away from them and banned and stuff, that's all automated. It's not like there's a live person going through and reviewing every single post.
Yeah.
So it's all automated. They don't have the ability to police their platform to that extent. Like, how are you going to remove liable content? Yeah. How are you going to remove content that defames somebody from your platform? Like, it's going to be up there. The moment someone posts it, like, what? It gets like 100,000 shares, and then you delete it. Well, too late. 100,000 people saw it. And it was up for an hour. You're done. So I was arguing with Pescatori, and I was like, dude, these companies are not going to commit the resources to like block and ban everybody. And the thing is, let's say that they do commit to doing that, right? One of the issues with YouTube is they're going after commentary channels, and it's like drip by drip by drip. They're slowly transitioning their platform away from private individuals and giving it all to corporations. It's happening very slowly. Well, what happens if the government says, okay, you either stop doing that, or we're going to remove away your ability to be immune from shit, right? Well, then you have a choice, right? You either go through and you delete everybody's channel. Only content that's approved by YouTube can be up on the platform. Well, here's your issue. You have a massive hole in the market. Immediately another platform's going to rise up. Yeah. And they're going to follow all the rules, and they're going to stay, and that's where all your users are going to flock to. So to me, I'm sitting there going like, it's a net positive regardless.
Yeah.
But the idea that this is going to lead to YouTube and Twitter saying, oh, well, fuck it, we don't need those protections. Like, no, man, they don't exist without those protections. They can't. So, yeah, he argued with me. I asked him like 3 separate times, did you even read the draft of the executive order? Because it's online. And I think at one point I just responded to him because he said, like, he called me like big brain or something. I was like, something, insult, riveting conversation. And they replied to me again. It was really dumb. But I'm like, dude, you're opinionated. I get it. But you're speaking as if you know the information and you clearly never read the order.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man.
That's how it goes. So.
But what do you think that it could have a backlash? Because technically you are giving the government control over a review of these platforms.
It could, but if you look at it right now, I mean, big tech already controls a lot of what is. There's a lot of stuff that favors them in what they can control online anyways. I mean, look back to the Tim Pool interview with Joe Rogan, and he had Jack Dorsey on, and I think the head of, I think it was
Gaia or something.
Yeah, the lady that was like the head of the law, the law department or whatever at Twitter, that right there was that tells you all you need to know right there. Yes, I see what Corrigani is saying in the chat, saying it could be a double-edged sword or something that could be abused for their own gain, but we're kind of in that situation now, the opposite being the fact that corporations are the ones doing the abusing as opposed to the government, right?
Well, and one thing I want to clarify on that point, it's not the FCC. I think it's the FCC, not the FTC. I know it's small. It's government, whatever. They are only going to review complaints when content is removed from their platform. So if I misgender somebody, right? There's a person I'm like, and I call him a dude, like the Zuby situation, and then my account gets banned, right? Well, then I can file a complaint. That complaint will actually go to the FCC, and the FCC looks at it and they go, no, man, that's not, that is a bad faith removal. This speech is protected under the First Amendment. It is not a threat. It is not harassment. It is not any of these things on the list that's already in existence. Like Trump didn't create it. It's been in existence since 1996. Just nobody enforces it. Mm-hmm. So I definitely agree. It's a double-edged sword, but I think it's more of a double-edged sword in the sense that you're giving the government control over that platform. And like that platform might be so terrified of what the government could do to them in the future. But like, it's also like you said, they already abuse their system. They already abuse their power. And, they are a massive threat to public discourse.
Well, think about this. And this is something that Tim Pool kind of exposed, of Twitter in that particular, when he was grilling Jack Dorsey and that lady. He basically brought up a very good point. It's just like, you guys are doing stuff that's already subservient to these other governments and other countries, and punishing and willing to punish people that don't necessarily have to adhere to those rules because they don't live in those countries, right? So this honestly shouldn't be a big deal for Twitter then, if you think about it with that line of logic. It's just like this honestly shouldn't be an issue at all.
Well, I mean, I think it's really funny. Because, they know that they fucked up, right? Mm-hmm. Because immediately when Trump made that statement, they removed the fact check. Because obviously, I mean, it's an opinion, right? And there is evidence of voter fraud, whether you want to say it's large or not.
Yeah.
There are multiple cases of it, right? So they remove it. But then they go back, they go to the Communist Chinese Party, which has had actual misinformation up on their platform. They go to 2-month-old tweets and they start fact checking them. I'm like, it's too late, motherfuckers. You screwed this up.
Yep.
If you wanted to play these games with Trump, you should have targeted low-level politicians from both sides. You know, some fucking stupid-ass congressmen, maybe a couple mayors or something. But you went, like, Twitter fucked themselves. But Twitter didn't just fuck themselves. They fucked everybody over. And, you know, it's like I said, he's had that executive order ready to go, right? He didn't just write that overnight.
No, of course not.
So it's like, I'm looking at that whole thing with the Joe Scarborough situation where he's like saying that the dude murdered his aide. Like he's heavily implying it. I'm like, dude, it's making me fucking cringe. No. But it's like Trump was waiting for Twitter to do something.
Yeah.
And he's just like, fuck, man. You guys are stupid.
It's just, it's dumb. I mean, like I said, and it's one of, again, another one of those things. It's just like, where the people that are losing it, you know, oh my gosh, it's going to be so terrible. And it's just like, no, I mean, it's just like, to me, it's, look, when you've seen changes on a platform, whether it be a social media platform or even this platform, which is a video uploading platform primarily, you know, you just adjust to the changes. That's it. It's really, they don't end up being as bad. I mean, look, I don't agree with everything that YouTube has done here on the platform, but you know, I've always adjusted to the changes, and people will do the same when it comes to whatever social media is largely affected by this. If, you know, if it ends up going through. So I don't. To me, I'm just kind of like, whatever.
I'm like, you know, you bring it on yourselves, right?
Yeah,
you bring it on yourselves. Oh my gosh, my mom's terrible. We do not know that Joe didn't kill his aide. I mean, technically it's true, but like, anyways, I'm glad I got your opinion on that. We've been on for a little over 15 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We got like 10 people watching now.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Yep.
Let's get into it. Let's see what's going on here. I mean, like I said, I already watched the whole thing, so I, you know, like I said, if there's only a few things that were edited out.
Oh, Crowception. Hold on.
Oh no, there's too many of us.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What did you do? What's happening?
No. We're in Crowception again. Hold on, guys. I'll fix it. Oh my god, look at how many of us there are. Okay. All right, I'll stop screwing around. Mom, stop spreading conspiracy theories. All right, let's see here. There we go. I guess I'll highlight your comments as we review this video.
As you can see here, we got a nice chunk of feces, you know.
And so what I want to know is this something you actually did? Or did you fake this?
Smells right. Now I gotta just give it a taste to get the impression, see what it's all about. So
I think it's fake shit, but I mean, that's the thing. Ethan originally started off being a fucking moron on camera.
Okay. Yeah, that room's beaten up, man.
I give this guy credit. He knows how to open a video.
Oh. God bless Gokanaro.
Oh gosh, this opening always makes me want to throw up.
Okay. No!
Oh man, the JonTron stuff is hard to watch.
I like John. Creators, man, that I'm still sub to.
Hi, I'm Scuffed
dude,
Logan
he's
Paul,
awesome.
and welcome to Bootleg Content Co-op. Ethan Klein has done a lot for the YouTube community, and his main channel videos are pretty funny. So why am I making this video? Because he's a hypocrite, and because he can't take criticism.
I mean, yep.
I think that was one of the edits.
And don't disagree.
This whole story started with Ethan taking one big risk.
Most of you guys probably know Leafy.
I remember
He's a
this.
popular YouTuber who's been blowing up big time. I'm actually friends with these guys, so it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. But if for some reason we as a community have been giving these guys a pass. And
I remember
if you look at
seeing this when he
Leafy's
had
channel,
uploaded
all he does
this.
is make fun of kids and
genuine.
like vulnerable people. No, there's no sport.
I gotta say, like, what's with the fucking hats?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I remember this video when he put this video out, regarding the Leafy stuff, and I found it to be a pretty disingenuous video from the jump. I was just like, especially when right after saying we'll see it in the video, and I'll comment on it after for anyone that hasn't seen it, but just go ahead.
Well, anytime you do a video criticizing someone, you go, well, he's my friend. Now I'm going to destroy.
Well, he says that at first, and then we know what he. But it's for people that haven't seen it. I guess play it, and we could pause it. And
One of these people, they're just. It's just sad. It's stupid, honestly, that we've all gone this long giving these channels a pass who are cancerous. I'm serious.
So Ethan calls out Leafy for bullying kids and bullying disadvantaged people in his videos, and I'm not upset about that. That's not the issue here. The issue is this. And
look, me and Leafy are friends,
You're friends with this guy?
Me and Leafy are friends.
All right, so you're friends with him.
Said it more than once, I remember
how
that.
exactly did you get to this point? Actually, I'll let you play along at home. What do you think? Did Ethan, A, discuss the video with Leafy prior to uploading it? B, upload it with no warning whatsoever? Or B, because the answer is B. All right, so right off the bat, that establishes that Ethan's goal in this was not to stop Leafy from bullying kids. It was to
not for
stir the
children.
pot, to get some drama going, to come out as the hero. And I'm fine with that. You can do that. I love stirring the pot. However, you made one crucial little error.
I really just want to see his channel die out. Fucking hate him and his channel. Don't give Pyro a platform to defend himself.
Me and Leafy are friends,
Oh shit, we're friends. I mean, that's terrific, man. I mean, I should have known since you literally were sucking my dick about my channel about a month ago. Happy for you blowing up. You got a unique style and personality, man. You worked hard to get where you are, and you deserve it. It just pisses me off to see Pyro writing yours to undeserved success.
This was the first time that we got a good look at the true, jealous, manipulative side of H3H3, or Ethan. He's straight up calling Pyrocynical a psychopath, cancer, no goofs, no gaffes. This is his honest, unfiltered opinion between two peers in the same platform.
Well, recently, I've actually had a lot of private messages sent to me of H3H3 giving me a lot of shit, saying how my channel is cancer, saying how I'm completely unoriginal, and I'm a total sociopath.
Now, Pyro, being a level-headed and self-aware guy, came out on this position on top. Do you know why? Because he knows how to handle criticism. He knows how to deflect it. He's smart.
Now, even though Ethan said all this shit about me, and I'm pretty sure he'd kill me if he saw me in real life, I'm gonna respect his privacy and not show any of these messages. Except that one, because it's genuinely funny.
But what happens when the peasant calls out the saint himself? Does H3H3 Productions go to him and say, you are cancer, motherfucker? I said it here, and I'm gonna say it now, you're cancer. No, dude, guess what he does? He fucking lies! He tweets out saying, why you straight lying, dog?
Oh, okay. So here it was also revealed that Ethan directly lied in a tweet to Pyro. When Pyro had some suspicions that Ethan was conspiring against him with other YouTubers, Ethan immediately said, no, dude, why are you spreading lies? Ironic.
Oh my! Dude, that's the thing. Like with the whole thing of repeatedly saying, "Oh, I'm friends with Leafy," then you see him obviously, talking trash about Pyrocynical, and then just trying to say, nope, didn't say that. Come on, bro. Especially if you're messaging people, you know what I mean, and you're saying otherwise, it's just like, what makes you think that that's not going to surface later on? You know what I mean? There's only so many times you could claim, oh, that was Dr. Fake or something like that, which I don't know if he did or didn't. But it's just like, it's stupid, man. It's just.
It wouldn't surprise me if he would actually claim that it was a doctored fake, because he seems like the kind of guy to do that sort of shit.
Yeah.
But like for me, I think it's kind of hilarious, right?
But his actions already speak against him, though, because he's sitting there. He's sitting there talking. He sets the stage, right? He sets this whole stage of, Leafy's my friend. I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. He's my friend, though. I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. That's the kind of narrative he's setting from the beginning by saying that Leafy's his friend. Like, hey, I didn't want to have to do this because the guy's my friend and all, but now I'm going to throw him under the bus. I didn't want to have to throw him under the bus, but I'm going to throw him under the bus now.
And the thing is, like, you can just be honest. You can say, I don't like Leafy. Like, you don't need...
Yeah, you could have said that from the beginning too. Look, I've never liked the guy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I've been cordial with him before, but, honestly, I don't like him. Whatever. I don't know. But that whole thing of don't, it just comes off as so disingenuous when you're trying to convince your audience that you're friends with him and trying to do this whole thing. Like, I didn't want to have to do this to him, but I'm going to do it to him anyways. And it's just like, don't, just stop, man.
Well, there's an interesting comment here. Emerald Lance Michael. I'm on Keem's side because I believe people change. I'm not on either of their sides, and I don't blame you if you want to be on Ethan's side or on Keem's side. I think that they're both really bad people. I think the big difference between them is, when Keem does something, he's in your face about it.
He's a little bit more transparent.
Yeah.
The thing about Keem is that Keem he has done some sneaky stuff before, but he's the thing about Keem is that he's at least a little bit more transparent about his. I guess the best way to put it is Keem is more transparent about the fact that he does shady stuff, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? That he does crap. Well, I shouldn't say shady, that he does crappy stuff. He's way more transparent about it. He'll gloat about it. You know what I mean? He has he'll
I think it was the Just Destiny situation. He goes on to Augie's stream and he goes, yeah, I doxed him. What are you going to do about it? Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like that. Yeah. But then you have Ethan, who, like, even when he wants to call somebody out, he can't just say, look, I don't like this guy. This guy's a piece of shit. Yada, 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 blah, 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 whatever. Instead, he has to, well, he's my friend. Like, I'm sick. I don't like Ethan because I don't like this fake fucking moralistic approach that he takes to things. Yeah. Just say it. I don't like these people. Like, it's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to. We've talked about it before, I think, on here on your channel, and I think on mine as well, is about people in the community not having to, you can be civil towards somebody without having to associate with them in any way. Yeah. It's not a requirement to be a YouTuber. I mean, is it better to, again, is it always better to have a sense of community? Sure, but not everybody in the community is going to get along. I mean, but there can be some degree of civility between people. I mean, and even if it's a thing like, well, I never want to associate with this person, you don't have to, and you could say that too.
Jay London, welcome.
Hey, what's up, Jay London?
He deleted that video for a reason. Yeah, he fucking did. He's very prideful and boasts about his BS. But Ethan is more deceptive about things. Look at how that whole Leafy situation that just happened. Talk shit about Pyro, throws Leafy under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Ethan.
Well, he threw, yeah, exactly, yeah. Threw Leafy under the bus. Yep.
I mean, like at least with Keem, you know what you're going to get from the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like with Ethan, he'll pretend to be your friend and then fuck you over. Like hardcore fuck you over.
Whereas Keem, he'll let you know that he's not your friend and F you over.
I mean, yeah, but I'd rather take the knife to the face than the one to the back.
Exactly. Well, you could see it coming. That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's different. At least with Keem, you could kind of see it. You could kind of see it coming. Whereas, Ethan's much more sneaky about it. So, Like I said, at least, you know, again, and that's why I can understand why people can kind of respect Keem a little bit more for it, even though, like I said, you know, there's a lot of things to not respect, right, about some of the things that Keem has done. But at least, you know, we in comparison, you know, obviously I can see why more people would side with Keem in this situation.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. And you know, I didn't mean to highlight your comment to like put you on blast or anything, dude. I just the whole reason why I brought that up is like I don't think either of them are great people. I don't even really think Keem's changed. I think he might be a little bit more careful, but like he's still the kind of guy who's just gonna make a fucking statement about somebody,
of course,
and not give a shit about the consequences of that statement. So
yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of them has really any. It's laughable that either one of them would try to moralize to any about the evils of the other. You know what I mean? I think that's laughable. But
I gotta say,
this is where we are.
Well, yeah, I think that, you know, the only thing I'm going to say about it, just we're going to jump right back into it. Ethan has put a lot of people on the Keemstar's side, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He has. That is true. But that's because, again, you know, like you said before, he's being more of a deceptive snake. You know, I mean, he's an undercover snake, whereas Keem is an upfront snake. You know what I mean?
A shady scheme.
He's an out in the front snake. So that's why. And it's just like, again, that's, you know, that's a play on something that Jim Cornette said about somebody being an undercover, see you next Tuesday, as opposed to you know, an in your face, you know,
in your face one.
Yeah. So
you were like trying there.
I'm not trying to say. I'm trying to be.
I respect that, but I say worse things on this channel all the time, so you have free reign.
But go ahead. I know you don't censor stuff on your channel, so you know.
I know. I'm just cool like
that. Can you just find like someone to pick on your own side? Like, I mean, seriously, dude, what's going on? You're just picking on kids. What's cool about it? Clean cut. I wouldn't exactly call it clean cut. He's got the hair of a fucking 60-year-old dude with a goddamn shitty toupee.
So Ethan was recruiting a army of small channels to basically try and conspire against Pyrocynical. You know, like, wow. Instead of doing a video yourself, you decided to gather a bunch of cronies and get them to do the dirty work. Slowly get them to try and topple this guy. Well, I mean, that sure blew up in your face.
But what does the saint known as H3H3 Productions do after he's been caught lying? He fucking licks Pyrocynical's asshole, dude! Look at this shit!
Now, after this whole debacle, Ethan immediately went into damage control. He professed his love to Pyrocynical. He said Leafy was a scumbag for releasing his DMs, and you know, that was basically the half-assed apology that we got. You know, in retrospect, I can't even imagine how gleeful you must have been when that content cop was released. Well, wait a minute. You helped iDubbbz create some of the points for that video. Well, look at that, Ethan. You ended up getting what you wanted. You got to bash somebody through the mouth of another.
Say that he's wrong.
No.
Okay, so Ethan, let's be clear. You weren't really friends with Leafy. You talked in the DMs, you bashed Pyro together, but really you weren't friends. So already we know your definition of friendship is a little bit loose. JonTron, however, is undeniably a good friend of yours. I won't even deny that myself.
John's the reason we came out to New York. He gave Eli a job producing when we were pieces of shit. We had no prospects, no money, no job. John said, "I'm gonna take care of you, kid. I'm gonna give you guys work. I'm gonna give you guys purpose." He brought us out here.
So when JonTron gets in trouble for the debate with Destiny, where he said some controversial things, you kept quiet about it. I mean, you make it clear that you disagree with what he said, but you know, you stay silent pretty well. You know, you don't discuss it publicly, which is okay. That's a perfectly fine response. You know, he loses if he supports John because the public opinion at the time is that JonTron is an alt-right idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's a fine reaction to have.
Which is unfair.
It's smart.
It was.
Okay, just keep that situation in the back of your head for a bit. Now, around the same time, PewDiePie...
But like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, from everything I can see, right? Because I like JonTron, and I've always liked his channel. And, you know, even when the whole controversy was going on with it, dude, I was just like, no, he's not, right? Like, just
No, of course not. He obviously is not. That was obviously a narrative being spun against him. And the thing is, truthfully, I mean, obviously, John didn't seem to be prepared for that conversation. I think that's fair to say.
yeah.
I think anybody that saw what happened or even heard any of the highlights from it saw that it's obviously not a conversation he was prepared to have, and obviously didn't bring didn't bring anything solid to the table there. Just be real. But to say that he was these things obviously is that's a huge stretch.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, we both know it, right? We're not friends with JonTron. JonTron's never done anything for us.
No, of course not.
How much shit did he do for fucking Ethan?
Yeah, well, it's not just that. Look, here's the thing. There's certain people that I've said this before when it comes to people that create content for channels, right? There's a chance that what you see in the camera is not necessary. I mean, look, if you come off like a jerk, most people will probably think that you're a jerk, right? That's going to be anybody's go-to assumption, right? If they see you, that you come off a certain way with a certain air about you, there's a chance that could be who you are. You might, but there's a lot of times where you're not really getting to see that personality either because the person, the way that they do their content. I mean, they're putting on a character. They might be putting on a character for the camera, or there's some other kind of factor there's something else there that's not coming across when they upload that content, right? So it leaves people to kind of fill in those blanks. I mean, I think a good example of it would be your recent debate with Breakthrough. Seems like a much chill guy, seems like a pretty chill guy, for the most part. Seems like a harmless dude. Didn't seem like, you could tell he has that young kind of, confidence about him. Maybe one could even probably say maybe borderline cockiness. So, but not, it didn't feel like, you don't think that there's anything that he's saying that's truly coming from a truly bad place.
I'm sorry, just to say things, like, I actually felt bad about things I said about the guy only because he's completely different in person. Right?
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying, and that's what it is. Like with a guy like Ethan, and being on as long as he has, I think you see a lot more of how Ethan really is in his videos than you might. You see a lot more of how he really is than what you might have an image of, right? And that's by virtue of him also, being on the platform for as long as he has, and the fact that his content has changed over the years. And I think it becomes much more apparent, especially when you see some of his podcasts. I think his podcast, personally, I mean, in my opinion, I think his podcast sucks. That's just my opinion. I've seen some of the episodes that he's had, and I don't find any of the conversations to necessarily be all that productive. I mean, it's entertainment, I guess, for his fans. Can some of it be entertaining? Sure, I could see it from that standpoint, but again, that's just my opinion. I just don't think they're good. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that probably exposed him more than anything else was him doing his podcast. That really, I think, showed more and spoke to the kind of person he was than even his video content that he was uploading. So
his podcasts are bad. I don't do the best podcasts either, so I think I can speak.
No, but the thing is, though, but at least here's the thing. The difference is that you at least have something
to say.
You have something to say, and you have at least something edifying or constructive to add to a conversation, right? Like, I thought the breakthrough gaming thing you had, I think that was fantastic. I mean, you guys really had a good conversation, regardless of of what he might have thought, what you might have thought prior to. I think it was all was well that ended well, right? Everything led to a good understanding.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse, and it just wasn't.
Sure, he could have come in hot. He could have started yelling, and then you could have lost it. And you started yelling, and then and it would have been great. It would have been like a very entertaining thing. But I think it ended up much more. It was much more substantive. I mean, because of the way it ended. With y'all just kind of in your own ways, agreeing to disagree. Him actually conceding a lot of his points and actually understanding and not being as combative as we might have thought he would have been. So
yeah, I mean, and again, like you could say, it will be a win-win no matter what, because either it's a spectacle and that's entertaining. But honestly, I was happier to have the conversation with the guy and find out I was wrong about him, because it gets uncomfortable. Like I'll say this, I was playing off pretty cool, but yeah, before I debated him. And before I debated anyone, including like when I talked to Sen and when I talked to Cody, I put some thought into what I was going to say. And, I get nervous before I go into it. And I think that it's important to have those nerves, because if you go in way too cocky, you're going to come across like a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
And you're not going to make the best points, and you need to respect the person you're going to talk to. So like with Right Through Gaming, even with John, like we're discussing the things we're going to talk about, because you don't want to go in hot. You don't want to go in heated. And, I've been watching a few debates with these, with this YouTuber, Vosh. Like, I think he did a debate with Count Dagula. He did a debate with Actual Justice Warrior. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want to have a debate like that where the two of us are just talking past each other and being insulting little twats to each other. And I think that that's Vosh's style. If you watch a lot of his debates, and I've been going through them, it's just insulting, like for the most part. He just goes in and insults you nonstop, repeatedly. I don't want to have to do that with people. I'd rather try to find common ground. Anyways, yeah, a little bit off on a tangent there. Yeah. Let's get back into the video.
You can continue.
PewDiePie gets in trouble for some bullshit, complete, horse shit. And Ethan, you vehemently support PewDiePie, and you should, because you're his friend. And because he's right, but also because you're his friend. You should always support your friends when they have more subs than you and public opinion is on your side.
It's a joke. He's not serious. There's a big difference, guys. Context matters. As a Jewish person, I'm not offended.
Flash forward. PewDiePie's in hot water, man. He said the N-word.
Yeah, he dropped the N-bomb, and he dropped it pretty hard. It was more of just like a Hiroshima. It's pretty much worst case scenario. When they drop nuclear bombs and the people out on the street have like shadows left over imprinted on the sidewalk. It's like that.
Get off your high horse, you pompous fucking prick! Oh my god!
I don't think Felix is a racist person, but god damn, he really kind of just was really comfortable using that word. That really just kind of... I love that I can just say nigger faggot, though.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man, he really just dropped the N-bomb, like, straight up. And the way he used it was just awful. Nigger faggot whore. It's just a wonderful string of words that really gets you going. We say offensive things privately when we're joking with our friends because we all find it funny for one reason or other. But goddamn, Doug, you're freaking live streaming.
I feel like you're using a little liberally.
I love saying nigger faggot. It's so wonderful. Yeah.
So now you're gonna get shit for it. There's no excuses this time.
I can't defend him. It's completely indefensible this time.
Yeah.
What a fucking nip.
Again, it comes across so disingenuous the way he's just like, he's like, it was so bad. It's just like, yeah, I see the legitimate concern on your face, bro. I'm so convinced that you think it was really that bad. It's nonsense, man. I'm sorry, you can continue.
I dude, watching that, it's like, man, here's the thing. I really don't like it when I'm watching this. You kind of do realize that he plays it so safe for himself, and he will drag his own friends. He's like a social climber, right? He's a social climber. Like he crawls up other people, and once he has any sort of position over them, he is all ready to just step on their goddamn throats. It's disgusting, honestly.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, again, and the way he's just kind of like, it was so bad, and it's just like, bro, you don't really think that, and you're not even like, you would think that if you're gonna say something like that, you would at least have a better, you know, you would play up the concern on your face a little bit better. It's just like you don't actually believe that, and it's pretty apparent that you don't, but you're, you know, it's whatever, man. It comes off as so friggin' phony the way he shows his concern.
Yeah, I mean, like,
at least in my opinion. Maybe,
no, I agree with you.
Maybe that's just his face, but it's just like, but you just see it kind of in the body. Not that I'm any kind of body language or facial expression expert, but it's just like I don't buy it the way he's like, you know, the way he gets all concerned about it. It's just like, bro, I mean, you're not convincing me that you actually think it's that bad, you know?
No, see, I'm with you. I don't believe him for a second. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, let's keep going.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why'd you do this? Because it's a hot topic, and you want the public to know that your views are rock solid. Do you know why I know this? It's because you're a disingenuous, opportunistic person who's not afraid to ride the wave of hate so long as it stays away from you. But it didn't. You got called out for this one, big time, because people saw you got a little too cocky. You got a little too confident.
H3H3 uploaded this podcast to YouTube, and it has over
28,000 dislikes on his most recent podcast. Almost more dislikes than likes on this thing.
They think that Ethan, H3H3, is being a hypocrite because on his podcast, he said the N-word too.
So I'm sure H3H3 will clear this up in his next podcast. Definitely no hate to H3H3 or anything like that. He's a great dude, and I know he'll come back from this, obviously, right? I think he's just going to have to explain it more.
You're right, Johnny boy. Papa Ethan can do no wrong. He'll explain this all away. He'll make us understand.
We can be friends, and you can still criticize me.
Yeah.
But you have Keemstar and Scares who are like, H3's a hypocrite because he said nigger on his podcast. You call yourself a news source. Like, get fucking real. I have nothing to apologize for. And somehow now I'm getting...
Yeah, like, dude. And that's the thing. I don't think he understands criticism at all. And he takes it so fucking personally. It's like, dude, just...
Well, the thing is, it's just like, did you actually watch? Did you actually did he actually hear Scarce, or Scarce was actually, you know, like trying to defend him? You know, I don't think that's what he meant. You know what I mean? And even then, it's just like, you know, that's not what Keem was saying either, but whatever.
No, I mean, like, dude, this is what people are actually saying about you. And you can't sit there and go, like, you shouldn't be covering. Like, dude, it's what people are literally saying about you.
Yeah.
God, man. Like, don't be so fucking sensitive. Baby. Little baby. All right, let's keep going. It gets better.
Getting more shit than PewDiePie.
H3's a hypocrite. I didn't watch the podcast, but this guy says he's a hypocrite, and I didn't have any content today, so I'm going to post a video, and I don't really care about what it actually means. I'm news, but I don't actually look at things beyond surface value. I'm Keemstar. But I make news for 12-year-olds.
Okay, so I want to.
He didn't watch their videos either. It doesn't sound like he watched their videos either. It sounds like he
this
just
is like the one time Keem was legit just giving the news on this situation. Like, he wasn't making shit up. He wasn't being hyperbolic. And I mean, it gives you, honestly, watching this video gives you more context to this fucking little pissing match between these two.
Well, not just that. Listen to what he just said. It's just like, oh, I didn't watch the whole podcast for context. It's just like, well, you obviously didn't watch their videos for context either. You know what I mean? By your own logic, because that's not what they were saying. And it's just like, you know, it's not to defend either one of those guys either. You know, I mean, Scarce, I've only seen like maybe a handful of his videos ever, so I don't, you know, I don't have an opinion of him either way. And Keem, obviously, it's Keem, you know what I mean? But even then, you know,
like, said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but even then, and you see it that they're saying, hey, this is what people think. You know what I mean? They're not saying like, oh, you know, you absolutely are these things. You know what I mean? There's no declarative statements being made by either one of them. You know what I mean? They're just postulating as to, you know, they're saying like, oh, hey, look, people think that he is because of these things that he said, and based on, you know, previous live or previous podcasts where he had said, you know, this kind of you know, colorful language, so to speak, right?
I mean, yeah, but like people. I mean, like my thing is like people legitimately said that about him, and he's just like, oh. It's like he watched a fucking clip that somebody sent him, and they're like, "Oh, Keemstar's talking trash about you," and he just fucking runs with it.
Yeah,
that's all he needs to hear. Keemstar made fun of me.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like he kind of defeats himself in it because he's saying, "Oh, they didn't watch all the podcasts." Well, it sounds like you didn't watch all their videos either. You didn't watch all of their videos, so you know.
Man. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Keemstar and Scarce made these plebeian videos without even watching my podcast.
You didn't watch their video.
Yes. Oh, we got ciggies, we got beers, we got the boys. What more could you ask for? The pinnacle of moral authority.
And to Keemstar and to Scarce, shame on you. You're my peers. You take yourself seriously. You made a fucking joke of yourself. I have no respect for either of you. You know what? If you think I'm wrong, if you think that I'm a racist and a hypocrite, if you didn't bother to watch the podcast and you downvoted and you left a mean comment and you called me a hypocrite, fuck off.
So, unsubscribe.
Yeah, don't watch. Don't watch.
Because we'll have a lot less of that shit to deal with in the future.
Keemstar, the pinnacle of logic and sanity on YouTube.
Yeah.
Go enjoy his fucking show.
Bye-bye.
Where everything he says is well researched and rational and reasoned. Keemstar.
We'll see you in a month.
The fucking
you
guy that looks like
you dumb bitches.
Yeah.
You know Jax Films did not want to be there
I was
because he knows
for
how the
him
internet
to
works
start the waterworks
very well. Time to have a mental breakdown on live stream.
Oh, Ethan's a hypocrite. Fuck off. That unsubscribe button is right down there. Click it and go subscribe to Keemstar.
Okay, guys, you heard it here. Ethan has supported. He's just endorsed Keemstar in this little pissing match that they're having. So you cannot support Ethan. He said, fuck off and go subscribe to Keemstar. So chat, I suspect that you all be subscribed to Keemstar. We've just given Keemstar, 10 people watching. We've given him 10 whole subs.
Unbelievable, man.
Oh, man.
It's just
big boy.
F off. F off.
I love the look on his face here. It's perfect for this.
I mean, he the dude looks like he's gonna start. He's gonna start the waterworks, man. It's just like it seems to have really gotten to him. But it's just like I said, it's funny because he says what he says, and it's just like, bro, it doesn't sound like you watch their videos either, man. You know, so
it's fucking obvious that you didn't.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going, guys.
I'm gonna go grab something real quick.
Hit that bell.
Grab a drink real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Grab water because I am super thirsty. What do you guys think?
Keep going. I'm gonna keep going while you're gone.
And enjoy the ride. And in 3 years, when you grow up, come back here because I'll be waiting. The H3 production has always been about logical. We break it down and we think about it. That's why the social justice warrior criticism comes in. You're going to tell me, who's been making fun and lambasting and discrediting these people for years, that I don't have this right?
Ooh, that's a big yikes from me, man.
Fuck off.
Right.
Listen to the fucking podcast. Keemstar's your source of factual information. Disconnect your internet, dude. Fuck up. I am not sorry. Think for yourself. That's what this is all about. Oh, Keemstar's the pinnacle of free thought. Drama alert. Welcome to the stroke victim nation. What a fucking loser.
You're watching actual professional comedians with their hot takes.
This is a fucking nearly 40-year-old man who thrives on making videos about Jake Paul. Let's turn to him for the news. Fuck off. I'm pissed off, dude. And I got nothing to apologize for.
Am I saying that you're being a hypocrite? No, I am not. I am saying that people are mad at you and they're disliking your podcast because they are claiming that you are a hypocrite. I call myself a news source because I report the news. And this is the news. People are calling you a hypocrite.
This is a fucking nearly 40-year-old man who thrives on making videos about Jake Paul.
Oh my God, bro, dude, this is your channel, dude. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Like, according to the internet, you're 32 years old. I'm 35. You're only 3 years younger than me, Ethan. Your whole channel is making fun of people and criticizing people. And when you're criticized, what do? Blame somebody else. Basically, you said anybody criticizing you and calling you a hypocrite is a 12-year-old. So you could delegitimize anybody's argument. Oh, they're just little kids. I'm right and they're wrong because they're little kids. And then you try to manipulate even more by saying the only reason why I'm getting hate is because Scarce and Keemstar. And then you use a Leafy line. Keemstar's just a 40-year-old who makes Jake Paul videos. Apologize. Admit that you're wrong. But you guys won't do that, will you? Because you're better than everyone else. You're never wrong.
Now, guess what happened on the next H3 podcast?
I think the only thing I really want to apologize for is that drunken rant. And, about the context hypocritical thing, I don't think I'm a hypocrite. Most of the people who were upset about it probably didn't watch the whole episode. Because the harshest criticism I landed against PewDiePie was that I was disappointed.
Hey, Future Chris here, real quick. I need to clarify and make very clear the point I'm trying to make here. Ethan, the issue here was not that what you were saying was wrong. It's that you were the wrong person to be saying it. You emphasize heavily that he was live streaming when he said it, and that he sounded like he was very comfortable using it. And then there's footage, man, of you being super comfortable saying it on a live stream multiple times. You had to have forgotten that clip existed. Otherwise, you'd be a complete idiot for saying that at all. Just think about it this way. Why do you think iDubbbz did not say anything? Because he's smart. He knows he's the wrong person to be saying anything about the situation. He needs to stay silent. Whereas you just wanted to use it as a fresh scoop for the podcast, and it worked. You got the clickbait, you got the views, but people realized you were a hypocrite. It's like if Bill Clinton called out Donald Trump for being a sexual deviant. Your point is just immediately invalidated, even if it's right. Plus, you even pathetically tried to bring iDubbbz into the mix and say that you would understand if people criticized him.
And first of all, I understand people who would criticize iDubbbz and say that's fucked up the way you use it.
So basically, you're admitting that you would understand if people criticize you, but you don't, because you're a hypocrite, and in your mind, nothing that you do is wrong. You can't take criticism. Anyway, back to old Chris.
Going to see an old friend.
Oh, I think this is removed from the edited segment, right?
Okay, yeah, because I haven't seen this.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Bitch, lasagna. Bitch, lasagna. She said we say nothing but bitch, lasagna.
Alright, so I heard you fucking got some weapons. Trying to take a look.
I got this machete, but that's mine.
Yeah, okay.
But
I've
got this. It works for what it's for, but it tastes better than what it's used for.
Holy fuck. Is it loaded?
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking liar. You want it? I know you want it.
I fucking want it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is nice. I like this.
Yeah, it's nice, eh?
Yeah, how much?
It's 500.
Did you do 3?
I'll do 3, but you got my stuff?
Yeah. Boneless or fucking deep fried? What are you feeling?
Oh, definitely boneless. I got a hard week.
Alright, fuck. 300 boneless memes. Think you can handle that shit?
I can more than handle. I need that.
Yeah.
Whatever stops the shaking. Never mind. There's flies in here.
You want any fucking Demi Lovato overdose memes, dude? I got fucking extra. They died real quick.
It's a dead meme.
Alright, I sent the memes. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you. So why do you want that?
Honestly, man, I'm gonna kill H3 Productions.
Why? The perpetual good guy of you two. Why would you do such a thing? What a fucking
What are you still doing here, man? I gave you 3 months to move out. You're still here.
Just fucking chill, man. I just work here. Do you want to buy a gun?
Yo, do you know where my brother is?
Oh shit, I forgot I had him. It's actually in my closet if you want to see him.
Okay.
I keep people in my closet.
Here he is.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Nick. Why'd you put a fucking bag over his head?
I can't tell him where he is.
I guess that's fair. All right, Nick. I'll be back for you in a bit. Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll see you Monday.
It'll cost you.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay.
Nick, where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere.
Remember how we talked about JonTron? Yeah, well, a whole 8 months after he lost his sponsorships and, he was basically ridiculed off the internet. Well, you had him on your podcast.
Oh, you've always been an incredibly generous and gracious friend to us.
Thanks,
and I genuinely love this guy.
And we
same to
miss
you.
you.
I know,
We
I miss you
haven't seen
too.
you, so-
It's been too long. Now that I'm officially, guest number 600,005.
31.
Not that many.
Not that deep.
Just kidding.
Did you see that reaction? Like, that signals to me that JonTron wasn't really welcome on the podcast until the dust had blown over completely.
You can go to represent.com/JonTron. I think that's the link, but it's on represent.com.
Represent.com/John.
Actually,
that should take you there.
Sorry. I never did like merch before, really.
So we have a
they're
call
linking
number.
in the chat to your store.
Oh, they're linking in the chat. Great.
No, cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
You had an infamous debate.
Holy shit. So after 8.5 months, and after everybody's basically forgot about it, now you give JonTron a platform to defend himself? Well, I mean, if you and John agreed to do this beforehand for him to discuss it, then that makes sense. That's fine.
It happened. How long ago was that now?
I don't keep track. I don't know. It was like a year or so.
I don't remember. Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, like 9 months or something.
So if you're uncomfortable with anything, like you don't have to comment at all. Like
I don't really want to get into this. It's a minefield of sorts. I'm not going to go back and nitpick everything I said and say and qualify it or anything. I'm not really going to get into it. But I guess the main question on everyone's mind is, is he a racist? Is he a Nazi?
This is the part that's hard to watch, right?
Yeah.
Because you like JonTron, you really do.
Mhm.
It's like, why are you doing this to your buddy, right? And you realize that they're not friends, right? JonTron thinks that they're friends, right?
Yeah.
John's been nothing but good to this motherfucker. And Ethan brings him on to a show, way after all the controversy has died down. And the first thing he wants to talk about is the shit with JonTron. Like, I mean, dude, just why? Like, here's the thing. I get if you said, hey, man, I can't have you on the show. Let's wait for things to die down. And then when you bring him on, you only talk about what he's working on. You just completely avoid the debate altogether. But like doing it like this is just fucking nasty. It's like he's already been browbeaten down. Now you're just going to fucking keep it going. Like,
Well, the thing is, he made it pretty apparent that he didn't want to talk about it, right? Now, if it's a thing where he had, it's like all for it, right? Let's do it. Let's just get it all out in the open. Let's put all the cards on the table. Let's do it. But it seems like, he doesn't seem to be comfortable talking about him. I mean, again, not a body language expert, but just, him kind of like being, oh, geez, just kind of like getting all of a sudden uncomfortable with it even being brought up. It's like, why would you, what I mean? Like, why would you have somebody that looks visibly uncomfortable? Why are we talking about this, right? Like, why are we talking about this? I mean, unless it's all an act, and he knew beforehand that this was coming, and he's trying to play it off after the fact. If there's something behind the scenes that we don't know, but then he says, I don't want to really get into this. I think that's pretty clear. That it's not something that, all right, we'll talk about this real quick, but I guess we can talk about it real quick, but it's honestly not even something I really want to talk about. Or at least that's the way I would have interpreted something like that.
Well, I mean, I think that's the way it looks, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't look like he wants to have this fucking conversation.
Yes.
And it keeps going. Like, that's a sad thing. It just keeps on fucking going.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's
No, I treat every single person with the same respect they afford me. That's basically my full statement.
Okay. I mean, do you feel like you said some things that you regret?
Yeah, I don't like reliving it. No, I don't.
Did you have a lot of
That's
self-aware
another-
moments during
Well,
that?
of
where
course,
you're
the
like,
whole time.
you're just like,
I was like,
why?
I should not be here.
I was wondering that. I saw
I
you
was
doing
like,
it. I
I'm
was
not
like,
the
John,
person.
no.
I was like,
Just-
if there, I'm not the person to fight this battle.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me just say for the record, like that I disagree with a lot of the stuff you said.
I really don't want to get into this. I would like to move on as quickly as possible because I just really don't want to get into this. I just want to make people laugh. That's really, I'm not trying to get back into
times
this.
that he said that he doesn't really want to talk about it. Is that the third time?
I think that's the fourth time, but like it's like 5 fucking times he has to say I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and it's just like he's not getting. It's like Ethan's not getting hit. Okay, look, he doesn't want to talk about it. And I can understand if you catch somebody out of the blue with something. Like I would excuse it, right? All right, one time, he brings it out of the blue, and it's not necessarily something he prepped for. I mean, yeah, you should kind of have all the cards on the table beforehand, and try not to ambush anybody. But it's a lot different, right? Let's say he did ambush John with this, right? And John's just like, okay, I'm comfortable talking about it. Let's talk about it. And they go ahead and decide to talk about it, right? They step into it. They go ahead and step into it. That's fine. But the thing is, it's very clear by him just repeating it multiple times and showing discomfort, he really doesn't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? He really doesn't want to talk about it. It's just like if somebody says to me, okay, I don't really want to talk about this, after they've already, I guess, maybe in John's mind, okay, I already addressed it. I don't really want to talk about it. That's my statement. That to me would be, okay, this person doesn't want to talk about this stuff, so let's move on.
Yeah, but I mean, that would require that you have a fucking conscience.
Yeah. So he's completely disregarding John's wishes. You know what I mean? John clearly doesn't want to talk about it, but he's completely disregarding that after John has not only given him, I wouldn't even say there's subtle hints. He's just outright, this is all I really want to say about this. That's my statement on it. I don't really want to talk about this.
I think at first you could say that they're subtle hints, but like it's at a certain point, he's like flat out stating, "I don't want to talk about this."
Yeah,
I think the comment highlighted by Ori is like perfect. He cannot take no for an answer.
Yeah,
like man, as I said, this part's just hard to watch because John Tron's a good dude, right?
Yes. Well, at least, to me, he's always come across that way. At least in the public things that I've seen him in, whether it be, panels he's been at or even his videos and stuff like that, he seems more genuine. You know what I mean? Seems more like of a genuinely chill dude. But again, you never know. But from what I've seen, he seems to be a good dude.
I mean, I think that's a fair assertion. Like either way, he doesn't deserve this.
No,
this is tough. Let's keep going. Fuck.
I just treat people with the same respect they give me at the end.
Yeah,
right.
don't
want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Done.
That's me.
Yeah.
Don't want to get into it past that.
Okay.
Is that fair enough for you?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
I kind of want to ask you. Tell me if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Ethan, I don't think he wants to talk about it.
But I wanted to ask you stuff that I find interesting.
People still want me to do comedy, so I've just continued down that path, and I don't really feel like dredging it up because it's pointless.
Yeah.
Not going to get anything else out of me from it. Not you.
Yeah.
Just like there's nothing. I have nothing to say.
I'm just more interested in like the journey you had of like you went through it. It was something that sucked, obviously, and a lot of times passed, and like you feel like you've learned a lot from it, or you're in a better place now.
Certainly learned. I've definitely learned, like, one of the biggest things I've learned is just how to have restraint.
And you were in an emotional state at the time.
I was in an emotional state, and I'll tell you one thing.
Not defending, by the way, I just want to say for the record, I'm not defending what you said. I just state again for the record, I disagree with a lot of the shit you said, but that's fine. Like, it's
we can
okay.
still be friends.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like,
we can still talk about it.
That's part of the problem is that people were like, I can't believe that you're still friends with John. And I'm like, why? He's the same person. Like, I love him. He's a good friend of mine. Like, we can talk about this stuff amongst each other and try to find a common ground, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's way better to have a
have a conversation and try to understand each other. Otherwise, you just end up with these segregated groups, people who hate each other.
Yeah.
Like, you really expect me to just be like, fuck off. Oh, Ethan's a hypocrite. Fuck off. You said something that I disagree with, and I can't talk to you anymore.
That nobody's talking about it on Twitter. He doesn't pick a side, so you unfollow him?
Like, that's how sick is that?
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to get into this too much. It's something that I'm just focused on comedy now.
That's totally fair. I understand.
Which, by the way, you're doing very good.
Thank you,
Because
Hila.
your last
You guys
videos
too.
were really good.
Thanks so much.
Like, what was this? Like, yeah, and I noticed you. I mean, you.
And he keeps going. My God, how does he do it, man? You know, and it just keeps getting worse. Immediately after this, he segues into talking about his depression. He makes it about himself.
You know, the audience doesn't think about this. They just see the
No,
fun.
totally, and it's frustrating. Anyway, it's a conversation for another time. But
Yeah, no, I don't want to probe too deep.
I'm just
here.
thinking about it. It's fine.
Dude, you're gonna come out on top, I guarantee.
I want to talk about it, but I need to think about it a lot more.
I think when I saw this podcast, it made me realize that Ethan is the Iago of YouTube. He isn't friends with you unless he has something to gain. You know, maybe he's friends like Leafy friends, you know, like that kind of friendship. But unless you have something directly to benefit him, you're not friends. Like, seriously, notice how everybody who he openly claims to be his friends, all the friends he includes in his videos are wildly more successful than him. It's because he's opportunistic by nature. I don't even know that I should blame him, but I will, because he is. I mean, I genuinely don't think he has ever collabed with a smaller YouTuber. You know, take that how you will. He has no obligation to, but it says something considering how many friends he has in the community. But sure, he'll have John on the podcast after not talking to him for 8 months. But we all know why that is, because he wanted the fresh scoop. He wanted the juicy details. He wanted JonTron to explain to everybody how he got those fucked up ideas in his head. And this is classic. I mean, this is not a one-off situation. Watch the podcast for so long and you'll definitely notice something. You might not notice it directly, but anytime Ethan feels he's superior to a guest, he makes it blatantly obvious. One of the worst occasions of this is the episode with Jimmy Lee. Now, I'm going to try and make this brief, but if you do watch this podcast episode, it is insane the amount of disrespect that Ethan displays for this old man. He opens the podcast by basically bashing him and discrediting him as a comedian.
His comedy style is essentially roasting people he's never met before. I mean, Jimmy emails me very frequently. He pretty much emails me like 5 times a day. We're best friends. He emails Hila too.
Except I ended up blocking him. I gotta keep my inbox clean, you know.
It wasn't personal.
I gotta see.
But I endured it because I'm like, Jimmy's a legend. I mean, the guy's a legend. So, and Jimmy, he's a legend.
Then, after talking shit about him, he welcomes him onto the podcast.
Jimmy Lee, welcome
I'm
to
so
legend.
sorry,
The
guys.
guest actually
We got through the entire JonTron segment.
Yeah.
Steve, hello, Steve.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
That was pretty terrible.
Yeah, no, I'm really sorry. Personal drama going on here.
No. Well, I mean, yeah,
I know.
Right to the JonTron stuff, but
yeah, no, like the JonTron stuff. Like I said, it's hard because I know what you're saying, right? Like, you really don't know people. Like, you can go by who they're online. That's about it, right? And you know, it's like stuff with Breakthrough Gaming. We thought that he was a total dick. We talked to him in person. Dude turned out to be really chill. But to be Aura's on his way home. Yay, Aura. But like Ethan and John, like, they are supposed to be friends, right? 100%. Like, that's not fake. They're legit supposed to be friends. Like, John's helped Ethan out big time, and Ethan's there just dragging him and making him feel so fucking uncomfortable. And I'm like, why are you doing this to your friend? Like, just fucking stop.
well, he
Just
repaid
fucking
him.
stop.
He repaid him by putting himself in a position, or trying to put himself in a position of some kind of moral superiority over him. Which, bro, I mean, you could agree or disagree with your friend. You could say that you don't agree with the stuff he said, and you could even say you don't defend the things he said, but don't throwing your friend under the bus. Okay. He already took his licks months earlier. You're throwing him under the bus, then backing up over it, then running over him again. After he told you, I mean, like I said, if it was a thing that he kind of ambushed John with it from the beginning, you know, just kind of out of the blue, asked him and John didn't know. If John wanted to get into it, then, you know, I guess all's well that ends well, right?
Yeah.
But it's obvious John doesn't want to get into it to the point where he has to not only be subtle about it, he has to be direct about it. Like, that's all I really want to say about it. That's all I really want to say about it. And that's the end of it. You know, like making kind of like, hey, listen, let's stop talking about this. I'm done with this. I don't want to talk anymore about this. And yet, you know, he keeps going, and it's just like, bro, your friend is giving you subtle signals and then direct signals. You know what I mean? But you're still, just running over him, backing over him again. And that to me is disgusting. It's disgusting to watch, man, because it's just like, bro, respect your friend, man. He's outright telling you. He's not even. At first he was hinting it. Now he's outright telling you. Yeah, I mean, like I don't, short of just saying straight up, listen, Ethan, I just don't want to talk about this anymore. Yeah, I mean, he made it pretty clear that he didn't. So.
Yeah, but I mean, then it wouldn't have been a good show for Ethan.
Of course. But I don't know. That's messed up, man.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
Reveals himself to be kind of, a decent guy, and everything's going kind of okay until.
But they create an effect.
Got it.
And an illusion is really what it is.
Right.
So it's a marketing tool.
Is it possible? Are you gonna be there the whole time? It's a little hard for me to focus on.
Are you filming?
Are you filming?
We have 3 cameras in here, Jimmy.
I mean, I don't mind the guy here, but it's hard for me to focus on you when.
Get out, dude.
Oh, can he stay and do stills or no?
Not really.
No.
This
okay.
one
Okay.
Is,
We'll do the stills.
Thanks, dude.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Well.
And for some reason, this interaction gives Ethan the green light to just fucking ruin this guy's day.
Like it's no secret, like between us, that it can be awkward for people to be around you, right? Like that you elicit that response.
Why do people think that when I'm just a funny guy trying to have fun? Why does that perception happen?
You don't know?
No. Or I hear dad jokes or cringe, and I'm
just a completely obnoxious, callous fucking asshole the whole time.
It is.
You seem to
powerful.
be very focused on race, like when you do your bits.
Well, I was a marathon runner, and that's part of that reason.
Yeah, why?
You said I was focused on race,
right.
And it's because I was a marathon runner when I was younger.
Right.
How'd she get that and you didn't? Race?
Well, I don't know why.
It was bad.
No,
it was bad.
No, it was good.
It's too big
I
brain,
just kept
they
hearing
went
you say
over
blacks in my mind.
He's so
And I was
fucking
like,
confused.
Is it racist to refer to black people as blacks?
So Ethan's clearly just looking for reasons to not like this guy. And he focuses heavily on the fact that his jokes are dated and they're kind of racist in a way. And oh my God, did you see that? Look at this. My God, Ethan. So we just got a good look at the Google Doc he uses to question this guy. And wouldn't you know it, it outlines every single question he asks.
For me. And I got a big outfit. And
So you're a successful dentist. What is your passion? Is it comedy or dentistry?
Well, I wasn't doing this for money. I'm not making money doing it. It's a
Right.
passion from here.
So what does your wife think about the...
She thinks I'm nuts. And I got my oldest son that thinks I'm nuts, and my young one thinks I'm hysterical.
What does she think about all the female attention you get?
It even has some of the fucking jokes that he uses.
Jimmy emails me very frequently. He pretty much emails me like 5 times a day. We're best friends. He emails Hila too.
Except I ended up blocking him.
So now we know why he was so pushy during the JonTron interview. When he has an agenda, he just goes with it. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't even listen to what the people are saying. He asks the questions he wrote down and doesn't even care to transition them properly.
That's kind of a personal question, right?
It's funny because who would do this? That's why I don't get the people don't get
That's
it.
why it's funny.
Yeah.
Who would do this?
That's why Hila, we have to get famous so people expect to see it.
That's like, that's almost like murdering your whole family and then being like, who would do this?
Well, it's okay
It's
because I'm
funny,
famous
right?
now. People expect
cute.
It's cute. It's funny. Who would do this?
I'm not that crazy over the line.
You're not that crazy.
No,
but that would be
I
funny.
would never hurt a person. I just want to be noticed and have fun. That's really all it is. We had fun.
We had a good time.
We had fun.
We had a laugh.
We almost got killed a little
Yeah, it was a
bit.
good time.
So they're having a normal conversation. And the guy just seems too human, right? So Ethan has to dehumanize him by doing this.
That's exactly what happened. It was actually Ethan a fluke.
So, would you want to roast one of us? Because you're like a roast comedian, right?
Yeah, but
Let's hear
we're,
it.
all of a sudden, we're having this serious thing, and now I got to go into Jimmy Lee mode.
Let's do it.
All right, so who am I roasting? Am I roasting?
You can start with me.
You want me to start
take it
with
easy
you?
on poor Ela. Yeah, I can take it.
Well,
Okay, this is a dance monkey dance situation. For those of you who don't know what that means, when you say dance monkey dance, it basically describes the desire of one person to have another person perform a trick for their entertainment. It's generally really demeaning, and the person asked to perform the trick is usually devalued for satisfying the request. Now, in this situation, Jimmy is being very fucking nice to Ethan. He goes through with it. He tries his best to be funny on the spot in front of all these viewers. But Ethan doesn't want him to be funny. He just wants to demean the guy. So after so long of the guy trying his best.
So this is exactly why I think like his podcasts suck, because they don't feel organic at all. But he's trying to play them off as organic. It's not to say that you can't have topics that you want to cover, but he has such a formulaic kind of layout to his podcast. You know what I mean? That this is why it's completely uninteresting. None of these conversations are happening organically. You know what I mean? You could have bullet points of things that you might want to bring up during that if you want to segue into certain things. But just like what he did with this guy, and this guy addressed, they were having somewhat of an organic back and forth for a moment. Then all of a sudden, he put a complete stop to it. He pumped the brakes on the guy, and it's just like, "Hey, do this," and it's just like, and that, you know what I mean? That messes up the flow of the conversation completely. It's just, oh my goodness, it's hard to watch, man. I'm just, it's bad.
Well, I mean, it's like people said, right? He's better with his show. He's better when he's being funny, when he's scripted, when he's got control of the situation. A lot of podcasters that I watch, right? They're very natural, right? They like to talk, like to have conversations. They have opinions on things. But Ethan's reading off a script.
Exactly. Right? He's scripted, and that's the problem, is that it comes across as scripted too. The JonTron, thing was a good example of that too. He just kept going back to it, It's just like, dude, it's I'm not saying that, again, you could have a topical podcast. That's not the issue, because organic conversations could come from those topics. But if it doesn't hit, bro, either move on to the next thing, or just time to improvise. Because the thing is, one thing you can't do is you're not going to be able to script the people that come to be the guest, right? Like in this case with this guy Jimmy, obviously, you can't script the guy like this. This guy's too much of a free spirit. Same thing with John to that degree, right? John's kind of a free roaming kind of dude in how he is. His personality is very loose and whatever. But it's like this, man. This is just, bro. There's just no other way to put it. It's just cringe. I mean, I know that's an overused way to say it. I mean, but that's really the only way I could look at it, man. It's cringy, man. It's just it's cliche to say, but this is it. This is exactly a prime example of cringe content, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, but that's what his podcast is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, you need to be able to transition. Like, it's okay if you have notes in front of you. Like, no one's saying don't have notes, right? Have notes in front of you. Like, have your points ready to go over with somebody. Have the topics there. But this guy is like, has to read off a fucking script the entire time.
Right? Yeah, it's like, yeah. He has to go point by point and check each thing off that he asked, and it's just like, bro, it's just like when it's not working, you just need to move on from that. And you know, if you could even look, you could even get away with going back to something that you previously talked about, because if there was a natural conversation that was happening because of that, use that as a primer to potentially spiral off into something else. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm any kind of conversational expert or that I would have a better podcast than Ethan or anything like that, but it's just, for people that watch a lot of podcasts, it's pretty clear that, you know, they like it better when something doesn't feel scripted. When something feels organic, it feels more genuine, and people tend to gravitate towards it more. There's a reason why Joe Rogan's podcast is so popular, because Joe Rogan, he doesn't script anything. There might be things in his head that he's thinking about asking a particular guest, but he just lets things flow. He brings them on, let's talk, and then, you know, when the time feels right, maybe get into a particular subject and see how it goes. And if that spirals off into something else, cool. We're off and running to the races. You know, we don't need to follow this script of, I'm going to make sure that I ask him this, and this. If it comes up, if there's a way to get into that, we'll get into that. But you know, there's no plan here. Let's just see where this goes. You know, he starts off with one thing, and then it goes from there.
I mean, yeah, like, but my thing with Ethan, right? There's a reason why he can't do that. You know, he can't do it because it's just not who he is.
No, of course not. And the thing is, you know, to me, it might be just a comfort thing for him, right? To just have things scripted. You know, it might be better for him, right? Instead of trying to have some kind of organic conversation, or truthfully, he might be afraid of an organic conversation because of whatever the guest might do or wherever it might potentially go. But it's just like, dude, you've already had like just bad takes on stuff before. So how can it be any worse than what you're already doing? You know what I mean? You might as well, right?
Yeah.
But then again, that might be just me being presumptuous. I don't know if that's what's in his mind, but I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I love this. The only one where he wasn't robotic was the one where Bill roasted him. We'll get to that. It's here. Right, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to grab some water. I'll keep it playing for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's pretty funny. He actually kind of succeeds, and obviously Ethan doesn't like that, so he looks at the script and he tries to take him down by saying,
"Hey, Jimmy, do me a favor. Take off those glasses. You're making a spectacle."
Oh, I never heard that joke before.
Hey, Jimmy, how long have you been white?
I'll be black with you in a minute.
What? I don't even get the jokes. Like, I don't
No,
even
one
know
of my jokes is when I do the blacks, I have my whole setup. But when I'm done, I go, I'll be black with you in a minute. I added that one in.
That's powerful.
It is.
You seem to
powerful.
be very focused on race, like when you do your bits.
Well, I was a marathon runner, and that's part of that reason.
Yeah, why?
And I'm dead serious. Like, this is uploaded to their channel. It's still there. You should watch it, because it's just insane that this guy, who's actually being very respectful and answering Ethan's questions, he just gets the fucking cold shoulder.
Whew, let's keep watching, man. This video is spectacular.
Okay.
It's brutal. You got. I feel like you have to acknowledge that watching this is brutal.
I love this shit. You know why? I grew up on Don Rickles. I have a lot of older people that have been coming to me years, and they love me and they get me because they're 50 to 60, and it's the old school jokes. And I know who not to do it with. It's two different personalities.
All right, let's take a quick break.
Sure.
Our sponsors,
You know what I
briefly.
like is the fun with the seriousness and the juxtaposing it.
Right.
And we're doing it great off the cuff. Back when we were really young is when there were two comedians. You see, in the 70s, 80s, it was one, but when it was this 50s,
All right, Jimmy, we're gonna take a quick break.
All right, I'm
run to the bathroom. We'll be ready in like 3 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I'm fucking in. I'm in over my head.
Seriously.
Is this I feel like I have no control over this.
You
had complete control of this podcast, Ethan. You asked all the questions, and he answered them. When you were interrupted, he didn't fight you. When you told him what to do, he would do it. The only reason the podcast failed is because you wanted it to. You wanted to rag on this old man, and you succeeded. And Hila is no angel, okay? When this guy goes to the bathroom, she fucking literally suggests that they kick him out.
Say we could bring Dan with the news after the break.
And Ethan loves this idea because he goes through with it. He does it.
Oh my
Okay.
god, dude! I'm sorry.
I feel like I have no control over this.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure.
My pleasure.
I hope you don't get stabbed or shot.
No.
I wish you health and happiness and all the attention.
What
in
is
the
your
world.
What is your advice for me?
I think you're too mean. I think you have to tone it down a little bit.
Am we finished now?
You're being,
or-
you know, in the.
Am I being ejected?
You know,
It's the ninth inning. I'm being ejected.
You know, in the old cartoons gags, they'd have like a long cane and they pull you off stage.
Is that where
Yeah.
we're going?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Dan, bring out the giant cane.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks
I love
for
you
coming
guys.
out for us.
I
Thanks
love
for
you.
coming. I love
No,
you too, buddy.
I love you.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
you have an open invitation a couple hours.
What's the
Email
address?
me. It's the Peninsula
No,
Hotel.
don't say it.
Oh, beep. You know where
Sorry,
I'm
I
at.
shouldn't have set you up on that.
You can email me if you want.
All right, Jimmy. God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
kids. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Peace and
everybody.
love, and H3H3 rocks.
Thank you.
And of course, once he leaves, they talk shit about him.
I didn't want to be too rude. That was what
But
I
you
was
I
worried
thought
about.
you had the perfect tone though.
Really?
I think
Oh, yeah.
meeting a meme is always a risk.
Right.
You don't know what you're getting into.
I don't like. I can't sit in a room with Jimmy for like 2 hours.
Heart of
I
the
think
brand
our
at this
biggest
point.
mistake was not bringing any cringe
We should have.
gear.
We should have come in a hazmat
Did
suit.
the hazmat suit.
We should have put his ass in a hazmat suit. Like with Jimmy, I'm like, I hope it works out, and then half of me's like, I hope it doesn't work out, so I don't have to sit in there and deal with this shit.
And what makes this perfect is that during the interview, Ethan made it seem like the guy was racist, that his jokes, that were clearly jokes, were racist. And then 5 minutes after the old guy leaves, he says this.
Chanel for banning dabbing.
There it is.
That was a brutal dab. He held formation for
It's like
a
a
minute.
scary
Hold
dab.
on, hold on.
That was like a fucking jihad dab. That was like a fucking straight up
Let's
Allah
see.
Akbar dab.
Here we go. We're going in slow-mo now.
Wind up.
Whoa! Damn.
Dude, that's when the bombs go off.
Jesus.
I treat my answer really. I just treat people with the same respect they give me at the end.
Right.
Don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
It's just that's me.
Okay, so Jimmy Lee had a very small following, if any at all. So Ethan felt that he could act that way toward him and he would get minimal backlash. But what happens when he treats another YouTuber with disrespect? Well, this is William Osman. He's an engineer who makes very creative and very interesting videos. Now, a while ago, his house actually burned down. And obviously that was a pretty, devastating experience for him. But one of the projects that he was working on was a beanie that talked. And it was made for Ethan specifically. And that video garnered a lot of attention, and finally, after about 5 months, William was invited onto the podcast. However, there was one small little issue with William's channel. He only had 600,000 subscribers. You see, when you look back at all of the YouTubers that have been on Ethan's podcast, there is not a single one with less than 1 million subscribers, except Eric from Internet Comment Etiquette, which is a great channel, and you should check it out. But he is included always with Jack's Films, and Jack's Films obviously has a lot of subscribers. So he's kind of supplementary, And as well, Eric obviously is well known for bouncing on his boy's dick.
PewDiePie did nothing wrong.
Come the fuck on. It's not a multi-layered fucking issue. Don't say the N-word.
It's
Just
not
don't
that
say it.
complicated.
But other than Eric, William was the first person to be invited onto the podcast with less than 1 million subs. For once, Ethan opened the doors for someone who was up and coming. So why do I say this is an issue? Because he wasn't given a full episode. He was given a 20-minute time space on an episode.
They said we're going to be on for like 20 minutes. That doesn't make me feel like a very special guest, but sort of a temperate, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like supplemental to whatever show. So what we've learned is that we're not exciting enough.
Creeps online. I'm going to teach these kids a lesson.
And when you watch the episode, there is very little substance to this hour-long episode of the podcast, and William could have easily filled that time.
This is a very mediocre episode.
We're just sitting here.
Every time it's like, this is the best episode. No, this is a very mediocre episode. Let me be upfront with you.
But, okay, whatever. 20 minutes is still better than no time at all, right? So let's just see what they talk about.
So the story of this beanie's creation is also an interesting one. Interesting, nice word for tragic one.
I'll show you the fridge. What we got?
That's the fridge.
Oh, we're there.
Fuck.
Oh, there they are.
Oh my god.
What's the process like of like, okay, you go to the site, everything's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you do?
It's a very lost feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's imagine everything's stripped away. You don't know what you're doing the next day. You don't know what you're doing the next week. You don't know anything. And
What's the thing that you really were depressed about losing that maybe you didn't expect, but
it wasn't having lost something. It was just not being able to sort of jump back into everything as
Yeah.
instantaneously as you do every day.
So for the sake of saving you some time, they basically just talk about how his house burned down for a good 15 minutes of his 20 minutes. And obviously, you know, if this were a full-fledged podcast, then it would make sense for them to go on about this for a while. But he only has 20 minutes. So basically, the majority of his time was spent talking about a devastating situation he endured. And to their credit, Ethan and Gila seem like they do care. But immediately after this, they transition swiftly into the talking beanie.
Well, I'm happy that you made it out.
Me too.
I mean, you really saved the most important thing. Really,
I agree.
You went and you got the beanie. And
I'm not joking. This really was high on my priority list. Not specifically because of you, but because it was the video. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it was for you, Ethan.
Let me try this thing on. Let's see. Let's.
Oh,
shit.
We got sound effects.
Turn it up, Dan. A small chance exists that I will set on fire and kill anyone who wears me. God bless. I think I did the bit.
Nice. That was good.
Thank you, everyone. Round of applause for the beanie god.
So far they've talked about his house burning down, and he's presented them the beanie. So what's next?
All right, that was great. I had a lot. So thank you very much. I'll say, William.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So that's it. They just wanted him to come on, talk about his tragedy, and then give him the beanie and get out.
Well, once again, thank you so much, William. And really appreciate you coming out here all the way from Ventura.
Yeah.
You're
You guys
great.
want to come up to Ventura and do shenanigans? We have some shenanigans.
We have shenanigans in Ventura.
I mean, we can come here too. But if you guys have any shenanigan ideas,
Despite making some promises during the podcast,
100%. I think that we definitely will have some shenanigan ideas. Is this my?
Yeah, it's going.
there has been no collaboration attempts that.
No, I wouldn't say it's on purpose, Dave. Like, I think this is just Ethan's style, which is a complete lack of style.
I think it's if that was the and I don't know if I'm assuming that Go Canaro did everything in some degree of good sequential order, not just necessarily put this narrative, but correct me if I'm wrong. At the beginning of that episode, or at least the way he's presenting it here, it seems like, we have a very mediocre episode today. Like that's the beginning. Was that I assume that's the beginning because he's saying we have a very mediocre episode today. Obviously, you wouldn't say that at the end of the episode. Unless you're saying today's episode was very mediocre. You know what I mean? So, him just saying that from the beginning, I think is, I would, if I was invited onto a bigger show, I wouldn't, obviously I'm not going to go in there hot against the host, but that would make me want to, that would probably motivate me to, you think that I'm going to be a mediocre guest, or you think it's a mediocre show just because, you're inviting me on to, which and I'm not saying necessarily that was what he was referring to, but he's already he's already setting the stage for it to be bad, right? Like it's like, people might not like this one as much because I got this guy that nobody really knows on here. Well, you know what? That guy might be the greatest guest you're ever going to have on your show, but you've already poisoned the well. You know what I mean? You've already set the stage for you already set the stage for failure. You could you already are setting up an excuse. And I think personally, I mean, I think it's disrespectful to his guest, by him even saying that, today's episode is going to be very mediocre. You don't know that. I mean, it might be the greatest episode of the history of your podcast.
I think the issue is Ethan has it in his head, because he scripts all of this, right? It's all scripted. It's all scripted by him. But, podcast is a little bit more natural than that, right?
Yeah.
So he's got it in his head how this entire thing is going to play out, right?
Yeah.
From start to finish. He knows. That's why when he brought on Jimmy Lee, he knew how that podcast was going to go over. He was going to ridicule this guy. He was going to be like a racist dick. He's going to be an old man, and he was going to just clown on him. And the guy comes on. He's the nicest fucking guy in the world,
Yeah, very cordial, very, which again is stuff that he didn't expect. But it's just like, it's such a jerky thing to do. Like, today's show is going to be mediocre. It's just like, well, I mean, if that's what you really believe, I mean, the only way it's going to be mediocre, I mean, the way I see it is just like, to me, that also, it doesn't just show that he has, to me, I look at that, you don't have respect for your guest, you don't have faith in your guest, you don't have faith in yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make that statement beforehand.
I mean, even if you have a guest that's like not going to be the biggest name, or maybe not, maybe they aren't that good of a guest to have on. Like, they're just really not natural. They're very They're basically Ethan, right? If you're a good host, you can bring out the best in that person.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And it's almost like he was, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, it's just like he was prepping himself. It's like he was almost prepping himself to fail. You know what I mean? Beforehand, he was just like, this is going to be a failure already, no matter what, because this is what I've decided. Because again, it goes back to that control, right? That control that he seems to want to exert. This is going to be a failure. You know what I mean? Is basically he's just setting it up. This is just fail. I'm going to have to take this one. And it's dumb, man. It's just I don't like it, man. I think it's I've obviously had people on my streams before where nobody knows who they are and stuff, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel. Hey, Aura, thank you so much for
Aura's here. What's up, baby girl?
What's going on?
I've been forcing John to stay. He's been like sending me private comments. Crow, I need to go, man. This stream's dying, man.
I don't need to yet, but I'll definitely let it be known when I do. So
I was gonna say, I was like, this isn't the only instance, by the way, that what is it? He didn't make good on his word about collaborating and stuff.
Yeah.
The Leafy Exposed video, he used Tommy NC. Do you two know who that is, right?
I think you've told me about him before.
There's two different Tommies, Tommy C and then Tommy NC, and that is the guy that Leafy made fun of when he was giving like a carton of eggs back to a lady. He's autistic. And Leafy made fun of him, and Ethan used him as a prime example of why Leafy's a dick.
Damn.
He said that he would do something with Tommy NC, and he never did. And Tommy NC has called him out for it, actually. So it's not the only time.
See, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about now. It's again, I just this kind of behavior, this kind of demeanor that he has. And again, look, it's his show; he can do whatever he wants. But it's just kind of like, bro, you already have like I think somebody said it earlier. Oh yeah, Dave Mark said it, lowered expectations. He already had these lowered expectations. From the beginning. It's just like, you should put a little bit more faith in the guests you invite on. I mean, you should put a little bit more faith in yourself, because I think it also speaks to Ethan himself, like that he has no faith that he's a good host, that he might be able to bring something good out of someone. Sometimes the things we don't expect, right, could be this guy who he just looks at him as a guy who lost his house and built this hat for him. This might be the best interviewee that he's ever going to have on the show, but he doesn't know that because he's not giving him
the respect.
He's not giving them the respect, and he's not giving him the opportunity to see, and he's not giving himself the opportunity to see either. If this guy might actually have something to offer,
So I mean, like the thing I was mentioning earlier, that when he did the Jimmy Elite one, right? And he goes, I feel like I have no control. It's not going the way he pictures it in his little script. It's just not, right? Because people don't work that way. They don't follow your fucking script, Ethan, right?
Well, and that's the thing. That's the whole point that I was, getting at beforehand. You got to be ready for it. You could have however many plans and scripts that you want to, but you know what? And you might, to a degree, you might be able to get people to follow that script, right? But look, at some point in time, you're going to have somebody on that's not going to follow the script, and the script's got to go out the window at that point. You know what I mean? And you got to see what you're made of. If you're going to be a person that is either going to control that chaos or let it overwhelm you to the point that you can't function. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what decides whether somebody's a good host or not.
Sorry.
My bad. Go ahead, Aura.
No, I was just gonna say, like, there's a genuine lack of interest that he even like wants them there at some point,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Because when it goes to a script like that, like you can kind of like care what they really have to say, and you're kind of leading it. They can probably say they're going to skip out on saying something genuine themselves, you know, because you're kind of just orchestrating it instead of it letting it flow.
It's not organic. Yeah, it's not organic at all, especially when you're making it a point to meticulously go from question to question to, like he did with John. It was obvious that he was going from question to question to question. It's like, dude, he doesn't want to talk about any of this. He doesn't want to talk about anything related to it. Stop going by your script. Just get to the next whole other subject that you were going to get into with him. Get away from this because it's obvious that he does not want to talk about this. But
the John stuff was the worst.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're literally checking off every question that you want to ask him just to get it off your list. It's just like, bro, forget it, abandon it, abort. It's you know what I mean? You know, red alert. You know what I mean? It's done. You know, it's move on to something that is a little bit easier for John to talk about, you know?
Dude made a talking hat. How do you call someone boring that can make stuff like that? Like, why not talk about the shit that he makes, right? Like, why not get into his head a little bit? Like, that's interesting.
What inspired you to do it?
Yeah.
When did you start? Like,
yeah. Hold on, I'll be back. You guys keep going.
Yeah, talk about like what that process. Like, how do you come up with these ideas? Just like you said, right? It's interesting to hear that shit. Right? That he doesn't want to do that. He wants to talk about, your house burned down. Tell us about the worst day of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, dude.
It's like, okay, Crow, remember when we were very avid and trying to do like guests and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember like we were genuinely interested in knowing about them, so we based the questions on, and sometimes we wouldn't get to ask our questions because they would go on tangents and talk about like their experiences in life and stuff, you know?
Yeah, like Ruben Langdon. That shit was fun.
Ruben Langdon. John came back at the right time.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, and Ruben will keep going if you let him, you know, but that's okay. Again, you know, it's sometimes that's stuff you have to do to, you know, to show, you know, to showcase the person, right? I mean,
Stacey, we all feel bad for the beanie guy.
Yeah, man, because again, you know, he deserved more than that. You could have honestly, look, you could have started off with that stuff, like they said, like how Go Canaro, how he talks about that, like
welcome
how he
back.
talks about that, you know, like, hey, you know, that's a good. You could jump up with that point, and then you could get into the more positive stuff. Oh yeah, man, you know exactly what you were saying. Or hey, you know, how'd you make this hat, man? What inspired you to make this hat? Like, do you have a background in this stuff? You know, doing this electrical stuff. Is it something that you always liked to do when you were younger? Were you like the kid that was taking apart the VCR or the DVD player and stuff just to see how it worked? Like, what, you know, were you a person that was like into robots or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And see what the guy says. I mean, if you're not giving the guy the opportunity, you'll never know. You'll never know if he's a good guest or not. I mean, if you've done all you can as a host to try to bring someone out and it's just not happening, then you know it's just not happening. I mean, look, you know, for his, go ahead.
No, please finish. Sorry.
I was gonna say for as good as Joe Rogan is, I mean, he's had guests on his show that haven't gone over well, no matter how, you know what I mean? And he's been doing it for a long time, but he's had his share of guests that, you know, it's just not happening. You know what I'm saying? They just don't click, they're not on the same page, and it doesn't end up being a good show.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say, like, Crow, do you remember when I couldn't make the deep humor interview?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember I was upset because I was like, you guys didn't ask him questions, like it wasn't an interview. You guys were just talking about a situation. You remember that?
Yeah, it was fun though.
Yeah, but I remember I was
like, I like having conversations with people. So like here's the thing. I think one of my weaknesses when I do a podcast of any kind, right? Mm-hmm. I'll just go off, right? Like when we did
you do have a tendency to go off, but I like it. I like that you do. I think I find it entertaining.
Don't lie to him.
I do. I actually find it entertaining when you do. That's why I like whenever I've had him on, he's done it. I just sit back. I'm just like, I love this. This is great. We
went on with 2224 Vic, right? Like he was going to interview us. And like we spent more than half of it talking about Star Wars.
I was gonna make a comment, but I was like, I don't want to keep Crow on this subject because he'll stay on this subject.
But no, that's the thing, right? Like, I could learn to stay on message a little bit better, right? Stay on to the topics, transition topics a little bit better. But like, Ethan is so fucking strict. I look at that and I'm like, I'd rather be me and talk about absolute nonsense for an hour with somebody than I would like be so stuck on a fucking script and be completely unable to actually communicate with people.
Because then it's actually entertaining. That's the thing.
This shit's just like fucking. Yeah. This is garbage. Like, it's fucking garbage. Like, you have JonTron. I think JonTron's one of like the funniest dudes on YouTube, right? Yeah, Mom there, and you try to bring up his fucking controversy after it's like months old, and he keeps telling you how uncomfortable he is, and you're just like, yeah, well, and then he finally gets you to fucking stop. You're like, yeah, so I've been depressed before. Like, dude, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Well, the shittiest thing about it too, right? When the heat was hot for John, right? That's the perfect time to put him on the platform to try and defend his friend or give him a voice, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't care about defending his friend.
Exactly. So he waited for it to die down. He distanced himself, which fuck it, to each their own.
Yeah.
And then he brings up go ahead.
I was going to say, but I said this earlier. If you're going to distance yourself from it, when you bring him back on, don't bring it up.
Yeah. It's like if Broly got into some hot water and then I'm just like, oh no, fuck Broly. He's not on here anymore, And then we get him back on here. So you want to talk about that life devastating thing that happened or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, let's drag you a little bit. Let's kick you when you're fucking down. Like,
I couldn't imagine doing that shit.
Well,
I can imagine distancing myself from Broly. Yeah.
Don't say that. I won't work with you anymore.
He's a good. Oh. Trouble in Paradise.
In the case, in the case of John and Ethan, though, it was. Again, like you were to your point, all right, it was already old. It was done. It was, people had largely probably forgotten about it by that point. There was still probably some people that remembered it, but at the same time, it's just like, why even bring it up? He brought it up, and bro, you're running over your friend, and then you're backing up over him, and then running over him again. It's just like, just stop. He's telling you, like, bro, I'm good. I don't want to talk about this. I'm past it. I've moved past it. You know what I mean? And it might be one of those things that John.
I got to correct Dave Marks here, because Dave, I've seen you make this comment a couple times. No, John and Ethan were legit friends, right? They were, right? Like, I get it. They were.
I don't know if they are now, but yeah.
No, not anymore. I mean, at the
they
time,
never engaged. Yeah.
These two were friends. Like, I'm not saying that they didn't eventually work together. They did, but they started off as friends. They were close, or at least that's the impression most people have, right? That's the impression that John clearly had about them. But see, for Ethan, it's not a question of a confusion between friend and colleague. For Ethan, it's, I need to work off of John to build myself up. He's a social climber. So once he climbs up these people and they're no longer good for him, he just disregards and tosses them in the trash. Like, it's, I'm not trying to like say Dave Marks like you're wrong. I mean, like, Ethan's thing is not like, oh, he treats them like colleagues and they thinks that they're friends. No, Ethan's problem is he only thinks that someone's his friend as long as he can fucking use them to his own benefit. And then when they're done, he's like, get the fuck away from me. I don't need you anymore. Like, that's what dude Ethan is.
You're problematic.
Yeah. I was like, we should probably go on.
You're problematic.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna get some water. I'll keep playing the video.
Cool.
I have seen.
Anyway, thank you, dude. God bless. They really appreciate you coming out here.
Thank you. And it's sad because this is like the perfect YouTuber for them to collaborate with. A nice, fresh-faced up-and-comer who has creative ideas. It would be perfect. But Ethan doesn't care to collaborate with people who are below him. He only looks above. And it's a bad fucking idea because you're going to end up getting hit hard with a lot of people realizing that you don't care.
All right. God bless, man. Thank you. So I don't know how to transition because we don't have a break.
Do I need to leave now?
You don't have to. You want to hang out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we've got, let's see, we're moving on. We are moving on to the goddamn freaking Ian's beat. This was great.
By the way, did you say that we just posted a video?
We just posted that during the break. What a multi-talented beanie god I am. Thank you.
Do you schedule posts or do you just send them?
No. We never use the schedule.
There's not enough planning every
So you're
day.
like videos exported
Yeah.
And it's on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the
that's
most part.
good.
At the best, maybe. Well, I don't even say at the best. The only reason I want to post it, I think the beanie's
It's still making
literally about to
noises.
explode.
I like how he's interviewing them now.
Oh, is it this?
I think it's this.
Why you?
Oh, this.
It's not our table.
Well, I didn't know. Man. I'm new here.
Yeah, the video's up. But at best, we'll like unlist it overnight because we'll finish at like 10 p.m. and posting isn't really an option.
That's really early.
At 10 p.m.
Yeah.
To finish a video.
Yeah, we pull all-nighters pretty much every single time.
Yeah. We used to do that.
We used to.
But I
We're-
think-
we're trying to be healthier.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a life.
And like not do that.
Excuse me.
It's hard. No,
All right,
it doesn't always happen.
We have to bring Ian in. We have an update to Ian, the intern. Well, we got to play the song when Ian enters.
I know, but we got help.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
I gotta set up a 2-shot.
We got a 2-shot, right?
Is this live right now?
Do you guys
Yeah.
mind? Yeah, we're live. Do you guys mind swapping out?
That's fine.
This is
Oh yeah.
this.
Yeah, because we're
We
actually
didn't
not
plan to
set
have
up.
two guests at once. Ian or William, God bless you. Everybody, please check out William's channel. I'm going to put a link in the description. Yeah, please leave that there
Oh,
forever.
yeah, right.
Forever. Okay, get that. Throw that out the window. All right, Ian, come on. Come get ridiculed.
And you know, the disrespect didn't end there. After the episode was put publicly, the initial title was Booty Doctor Films Patients and Coughing Beanie. Like, that's a shit title. Why not just put the guy's name in it? He has a fucking significant following. 600K is not nothing, man. Anyway, the viewers picked up on this very easily, and the title was changed. Although for some reason the Booty Doctor description was extended, so you can't see his name in recommended. And I do think that this lack of respect that is displayed by Ethan is largely to do with this fucking micromanaging of the podcast. We saw already that he has scripts for his podcast and he has questions, and clearly this is causing issues because he sticks too closely to his shitty scripts. You know, this is a fan and a fellow YouTuber who is very excited to come on, and rather than exploring his mind, you limited him to two things: Beanie and fucking fire. This also kind of explains why the Bill Burr podcast went so poorly. But you
I
see, the
remember
difference is that usually the person who Ethan brings on is well aware of who Ethan is. And so Ethan feels a degree of power, right? Because he's this authority figure or whatever. But Bill Burr doesn't know who the fuck Ethan is, and he doesn't care. And Ethan went into it assuming that he would already have respect. He felt like he
This is
didn't
like the
have
best
to
part
earn
of
it.
the
And
video.
Bill Burr's a very grounded guy, and he fucking shattered that illusion, and it was beautiful to see.
The great Bill Burr.
Remember this. Everybody was
Here today.
I don't know about great. Give me somewhere
The
to go.
greatest.
Oh,
The
yeah.
great.
The greatest guy sitting across from you right now. The NCAA.
There's a lot going on for the great Bill Burr with the greatest Bill Burr.
Oh,
I do mean that, by the way. I know it makes you uncomfortable.
It
but,
does.
Yeah.
One great was bad enough.
Does it? But you know that.
I like being appreciated.
Yeah. Okay.
Just say
Tone it
back
down.
with the person I appreciate.
So once again, the
That
great,
that's
great mind.
that's his-
that I appreciate very much.
That's his finishing move.
Well, I love that moment. I love everything you do. The great.
This is how you turn it around. This is how you turn it around.
Where
Made you uncomfortable. Now you fucking sit there and compliment me.
He knows what's going on.
Yeah, it's
good people.
Bill Burr is
Oh yeah.
He's
What are you going to say at the beginning? Tony, you are the greatest comedian. You do it to everybody.
I don't. I swear to God, I don't.
No.
But you know what I'm
I'm
telling
kidding,
him?
man.
You know what
I'm
I'm
kidding.
telling him? I'm gonna say I appreciate you, Tony. We don't. The great Bill Burr doesn't have time for that.
All right.
Now, I'm not ragging on him for being nervous. I'm ragging on him because his superiority complex was shattered, and it was revealed that it's actually an underlying layer of insecurity that is driving him.
See, that's part of. I feel like that's a new thing. You're already worried about your daughter being sexually assaulted. You know, how old's your daughter?
I don't think that is. I think that's you projecting your OCD on me. It's
you're talking about, you know,
that she said 3 words and she totally communicated like
right.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like you're in love with your daughter. Hearing you talk about her on the podcast.
Jesus Christ. Well, you're pretty perceptive. It's like you care
Well,
about your own child.
Listen, more than that, okay?
And you also had a zillion kids, so I mean, yeah.
Really? How many siblings do you have?
I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will
Yeah,
somehow
by all means,
compromise
keep
your
talking
privacy.
about it. Is there anybody you can cut this out? I'm honest, dude. Like,
Seriously?
Yeah, no, dude. There's fucking lunatics out there.
Okay.
Whoa.
Off the air. I'll tell you.
All right.
Jeez.
I remember.
I love how surprised he is. Jesus.
Well, you can mention the amount.
Absolutely crazy people.
Okay. No. This is one of the first times I heard about you. I was in college, I think, at the time. It was when you were getting booed by thousands of people
I was
in
hoping
Philly.
you were. I was like, when you said my favorite
don't-
YouTube video, I was like, oh God, not the Philly thing again. And then you did the Sherry's Berries. I was like, I love this podcast. Now I hate you.
Oh no.
I love. What can I do? I love that.
I'm joking. I'm fucking with you. Go ahead, let's do it.
But do
So
you?
what was
But,
the three ahead?
no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna ask you.
Were bullied. You've been booed before.
You've talked about this a lot.
Probably more than the grape lady.
I didn't realize.
No, but go ahead. Let's do it.
Well,
Let's
now
do it.
I frankly,
I like making you. I like making you.
skip it.
I like making you uncomfortable.
Well,
You
what
do
am I
this
supposed
thing.
to? Well, what am I? Yeah, right.
You know, you get.
And now, what do you want me to be? Well, what was going through your head, Bill, when you're getting booed by all those people?
Yeah. You're a really cynical guy, man.
I thought you were down. I
that
thought you
is
were
a
gonna be
lot.
down.
That is a lot for me to say that.
I
Like
thought
you're
you were
like
gonna
out
be down, but it's basically
I respect Ethan's ego.
Shit, doing something.
F in the chat.
Something's burning.
Oh,
Oh, something's burning.
F in the chat for Ethan. Yeah, I remember Bill took him and gave him the elbows, man.
That's why I'm here. He told me, he goes,
Yeah, bless Bert. He's such a sweetheart. Do you watch YouTube videos at all?
It's wild. Can we talk about how Hila was laughing about the comment of Bill's not being sexually assaulted was extreme? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that just Ethan got handled. It completely went off the rails on that particular show. Because again, he came across somebody that wasn't going to follow the script. And the thing was, Bill had him figured out, man, from the very beginning. As soon as he started talking, he's like, "Oh, okay, I see what this is. I know what I'm going to be kind of in for here with this guy." You know. So, that just was, oh my Lord. That was brutal, man. Or you hear?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you got quiet for a moment.
No, I was letting you take the reign. It's just an opportunist, like he's I got Bill Burr on, like trying to get in good graces and see what happens,
Yeah,
That's how the game works.
Yeah, let me ask him the same questions that everybody always asks him when they have him on a podcast. That's basically what happened.
How many times do you think Bill Burr has to hear about him getting booed in fucking Philly?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that question many fucking times. You don't even need to be on H3's podcast to ask that fucking question.
No, of course, yeah. That's something that happens to him in interviews. You know what I mean? It's just like, bro, come on, man. And that's the thing. It's just like, maybe he feels that he's going to get a different response from him if he asks the question. Maybe there's something different he'll bring up, because that can happen sometimes. Even if you ask the same question that's already been asked to a particular guest, sometimes it could have a different answer. But the thing is, again, he wasn't prepared for the fact that Bill wasn't going to follow his script. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And that's, Bill said, "Oh, you got a script. Well, I don't care about your script."
I wonder how he's going to react to this, because Ethan's going to watch this on his podcast live, right?
Oh, to this video, right?
Yeah, he's the whole idea.
Wow, it's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm sure he'll pause it and he'll have rebuttals to stuff, and he'll probably not own up to things that he himself said, or he's going to rationalize the things he said with stupid reasons. You know what I mean? Like he'll probably double down on some of it, maybe even triple down. Like, "Oh, I'm not a hypocrite because of XYZ reasons. The reason I said I wasn't a hypocrite is because of this, and because of this, and because of this, and because of this." And it's just like, bro, that's again, and he'll completely miss the point again. Like that's not what they were saying. That's not what they were directly saying. I mean, although it was being implied, but the people that you criticize were saying that fans think you're a hypocrite because of these things. You know what I mean? And you just completely glossed over that and just, just zeroed in and said, "Oh, they're saying this about me," and it's just like, well, did you actually watch their videos? Obviously not. And then you go as far as to accuse them of that.
You all don't know how much of a good time I'm having. I miss this video. Like, this is a good video. This is one of my favorite videos, man.
The Gokanara video?
The Gokanara video. Because it's like, the points are very descriptive. You know what I mean? It's not just a typical expose, like, bad person. Like, it's visual, exact examples. Like, he dissects all the examples of when Ethan's being a dick. Like, what is it? What's his name? William? The guy who did the beanie? Is that his name?
I think so. William. Yeah. The guy's name was William.
That was really shitty. Like, I don't even think he realized how shitty he was until he's going to sit down and watch this video and he can see him on, oh, wow, that's how I was. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a good look in the mirror,
I mean, I hope that would require him to be willing to look at it objectively and actually embrace the criticism. Exactly, embrace the criticism against him. You know what I mean? And I don't think he's going to do that, because I think as we've seen with even the recent stuff with Keem and the videos the video he put out against Keem that pretty much started everything here. I don't think he's going to do that. I really don't. I mean, if he does, hey, look, more power to him, and I think that'll go a long way. But I don't know, man. I mean, he's never been good about it in the past, from what it seems like. So I don't see why that would change now. I mean,
it's his only opportunity he has left, man.
Yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah, I mean, because look, he's already lost, I think, all his sponsors at this point. Or what was it, 6 sponsors, or was it all of them? I heard all of them. But it's just like, and not that alone is going to sustain him. I'm pretty sure he was smart enough to put money away, or at least I hope he was. And he's obviously still going to be making ad revenue off of his videos, but that's not going to be.
It's not going to be what it was.
That's not going to be enough. Yeah, I mean that would, for however he leads his lifestyle, which I don't know. Maybe he lives very modestly, maybe not.
Yeah.
But it's hard to know, right? I mean, but as far as your online career goes, though, these are like beginning stages of, the end. Of decline, for sure. I mean, it's not to say that for sure it'll be the end of him, but this is kind of those. He's kind of been in the pre-phases for, I think, a couple of years at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And all it takes is just something. All it takes is a mass amount of people really, really disliking him and continuously pointing out the stuff that is obviously hypocritical about him, and people, realizing like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? People are right, you know what I mean? And then it's just going to be,
all this was kind of brought on by himself. So the sponsors things, like, it's just insane. The turn of events that this is like brought about is just insane. The Goku Naru video is back. No one thought that was going to happen. That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, Jay London, but he's saying there too. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, he's stubborn and he thinks he's so righteous all the time. Yeah, and self-righteousness, the kind of self-righteousness that he has, that's a recipe for disaster, because again, it's a guy who thinks he's always in the right no matter what, and somehow, some way, he's always going to play it like, well, no, I'm wrong in this situation, but I'm actually right, and I'm going to prove it to you with this with these nonsense reasons that I'm just going to completely deflect.
Retard here. And is Ethan Klein a joke thief?
No. Greg, are you going to do what H3 does, where he goes against his morals for financial gain and then also lies to his viewers a lot? Are you going to do that as well? Also, are you going to steal content ideas off other creators and then use them as your own and not tell anyone?
Shots. Yikes. Okay.
Well, according to Chad, he is. But Chad's name is also anything for views, so
he's got serious issues.
Doesn't exactly add credibility.
Ethan, stop stealing your jokes and stop telling the same ones, and you should be good.
Oh, because he stole the Vape Nation meme?
Oh, yeah, tell everyone. Don't tell them where they stole it from. Just say you stole it.
Yeah. The number one gem of Ethan Klein, Vape Nation, was a stolen idea from a friend, a close friend. And who's the...
I'm so sorry, guys. How you doing?
Welcome back.
Oh, it's... Hi there.
Hello again.
So, John, he lost 5 sponsors, by the way.
We lost 5. Okay.
He lost 5, and Soge's like, "Oh, he's going to end up in $50,000 bracket like DSP." I don't know why I thought that was so great.
Hey, guys, I didn't think that we were going to be streaming this late. It's midnight. I got to go in early to sign the documents for the house and everything. We're about halfway through. I kind of want to watch the rest of the videos with you guys, but if you're in the chat right now, the entire video is up on the channel. You can see the title of it. Go ahead and watch it, and I want you to just drop a comment. Let us know what you think about it. It's a re-upload from Gokunaru. Hopefully we can actually finish watching this in another stream together. But I just want to say thank you to... Sorry, I don't mean to cut this off. But I gotta cut the stream, guys. And I gotta talk to you guys once we're done in here.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, it's not... I'm so sorry to ruin everyone's night.
It could there could be a part 2. It's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
before Ethan. No, just joking. Timestamp is 51 minutes. So if you want to just jump onto the video, guys, you can just catch it from there.
All right, real quick before we leave, because I promised that no matter what, I would make sure that we plug this, because we do have 4 patrons, and they're all pretty cool people. Well, more than I've been sharing here.
Moving on up. That's good. Appreciate you.
The Crow of Judgment. We got to change this banner to say Crows of Judgment. We'll fix this, guys. We're gonna fix this shit.
I'm waiting for your art to come in to fix it.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. We actually got a new patron, Jonathan Murillo, who gave us $2, two whole dollars. As of yesterday, it's technically today was only 11 minutes ago. So
that's more than I gave.
That is more than you gave. John Murillo is my real friend. $2 from John Murillo, $6 from Lady Titania. We got $1 from Zero Returns, a whole 100 pennies from Origami, and $1 from Maria. Thank you all so much for being patrons. If you want to become a patron, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/Crow of Judgment with no S, because we haven't fixed that yet. But the link is in the description.
Just use MS Paint.
Yeah, for real.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in for another stream. Again, this was really impromptu. We're going to be actually taking it down. We'll have it re-uploaded on Sunday for everybody. And hopefully we do a part 2, because the end of the video gets pretty good. But you can kind of see why Ethan doesn't want people watching this, because it paints him in an extremely negative light. And Ethan is not capable of taking the criticism. Now, just a quick update. He has stated, and this is really funny to me, that as the video has been consistently removed from channel after channel after channel after channel, as people have tried clipping it up and taking out certain parts of it, it's still getting removed. You have to upload like really shitty, low quality versions of it. After being silent for days, after it's been hard blocked on the platform, all of a sudden Ethan just came out with a tweet today saying, "Hey, so I'm going to do a stream in my podcast, and I'm going to watch the video."
Right after ours, by the way.
Yeah, right after us. So he copied our idea. But my thing is, like, how do you get fucking permission? Bitch, that don't make you look any better.
There had to be a point where there was like, all right, there's no stopping it. That video is going to get everywhere. No one was that committed to spreading the Gokunaru video until now. So but now see, it
works out perfectly for Ethan, because he gets to be the only channel where you can watch it, major channel, because you can't watch it on Keemstars, you can't watch it on the Quartering, you can't watch it on any channel that has 100,000 subs. Yep. So now he gets to control the entire narrative behind the video, which I think just makes him even a bigger fucking cocksucker. I swear to fucking God.
I was telling Toy Bounty Hunter that this is his last opportunity, to be honest. Like, he has to embrace this criticism, because there's no other choice.
No, I think he'll embrace it the way he embraced the last criticism about him.
Which
is to bitch everybody out for bothering to talk about it.
I agree. I do agree, but like, I'm just saying, this is his last opportunity. I don't know what he can possibly do if he denies this criticism. Everyone already thinks he's already in leagues with YouTube to have this thing taken down. I don't know how he's going to explain that away.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, and that's probably why he's doing the video, why he's actually going to watch it. See, I don't have a problem with it. I'm going to watch it, and maybe he'll pull this whole thing where he's going to be like, "Oh, no, the criticism and it is fair, and I agree with some of it. Now, upon reflection, I think he makes some good points, and blah 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 blah. I think he's going to do that. I think he's going to do that. I really do.
Are you then going to bring back on?
That's not a good impression of him, but I'm just saying that I think that's going to be his play. His play is definitely going to be to. I don't think he's going to outright condemn the video and say, "Oh, it's just all lies" and stuff like that. I think he's going to pull this disingenuous thing where he's going to be like, "Oh, well, that's fair and that's fair. Well, I don't agree with this," and then he'll probably rationalize, certain points that are good and try to rationalize why, oh, well, they're not true because of this, that, or the other, or whatever reason he comes up with for why he's not a hypocrite. Yeah,
but like what I'm wondering is he going to bring William onto his channel and make up for the bullshit he put him through? Is he going to fucking issue an apology to Jimmy Lee, who treated like fucking trash?
He should, right?
He may just for, he might try to do something like that just for PR reasons, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna hit up this person right now. Where's my phone? Let me text them. Hey, come back on the show. You know what I mean? Or I think that it's very possible that we'll see a situation. Possibly again, I'm not gonna call it verbatim, but I think it's very possible that we might see him, do this, grandstand a little bit and kind of virtue signal a bit on, hey, you know what, this, that, or the other. I'm going to make this right. I'm going to, give this person a chance and respect to properly come on my podcast and do it the right way. I mean, don't be surprised if he tries to grandstand in some way as a means of damage control. I wouldn't be surprised in the least.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing, right? If he does that, but then he legitimately follows it up and gives these people the credit that they deserve, right? He issues the correct fucking apologies and doesn't fucking shove a dick in his mouth over it. I'll say, like, at least you did the right thing, right? At least you did the right thing after being called out and trying to suppress a video. Right?
But even then, people are still going to question his motives, because they're just like, okay, are you doing this because you really mean it, or are you doing this just because you're trying to do damage control, which is fair, which is going to be fair for people to question.
No, see, I agree, right? I don't think that there's any, like, man, look at the person Ethan has been for all of these years, and this video has existed for a while. There's no way in fucking hell Ethan hasn't seen it, right? I don't believe that. Right?
Come across, yeah, I'm sure it's, at the very least, if he hasn't seen it, he knows of its existence, because remember, we know about how he addressed, Scarce and Keem in that one video, right? Like, it's saying, and then accusing them of not watching his entire podcast and seeing the entire context. So it's obviously he knew about their videos, but it's pretty obvious that he probably didn't watch their videos. There's a good chance that he did watch their videos, or he didn't hear what he wanted to hear. I mean, like Ora was saying earlier, that it was a Ora that said that he had selective hearing.
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
So,
I look forward to watching that podcast, because I just want to see his reaction as he's watching people say this shit to him. And I just want to know if he takes it seriously or not, because I don't actually believe he'll take it seriously. Anyways, guys, that's the stream. There will not be one on Sunday. We're going to re-upload this video on Sunday. We have some videos coming out tomorrow and Saturday. And then we'll be back onto our regular routine starting on Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, thank you so much for Toy Bounty Hunters for joining the panel tonight. Thank you, Aura, for still dropping in. And I apologize, guys, that I had to cut it out early. But hopefully I'll see you here in the next one.